Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Well, the rain is holding off here at Victoria Park as we welcome you to this round 15 edition of Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live. Our game for broadcast this week is the red-hot Collingwood taking on the ever-consistent Williamstown Seagulls. A big welcome to the spiritual home of the Collingwood Football Club over here at Victoria Park. My name is Michael Peppicelli. Adam Sarakoglu to join us a little bit later. Glenn Hill also is boundary side. But as we mentioned, a big game coming up for both sides. The Magpies have won 3 games in a row as they run on to the ground here at Victoria Park. They've won their last 3 after a disappointing 2-7 start to the season. Coach Jared Rivers just has things humming along nicely at the moment after their second mid-season bye and 3 consecutive wins over some pretty good opposition as well. Footscray, one of those teams they've beaten. Werribee, another one last week, a thrilling 3-point victory, and also North Melbourne, that win sandwiched in between the others. So the Pies coming in good form, but as do the Seagulls. We know Andy Collins likes to run a tight ship. They're always thereabouts, the Seagulls, and they'll be looking for another top 4 finish. They currently do sit in 4th place. Some great form as well for the Seagulls. Only lost 1 game in their last 7, of course. Fingernail-biting draw against Port Melbourne, somewhere in amongst that as well. So it should be an absolutely cracking contest here at Victoria Park. Plenty of big names playing for the Magpies this afternoon. They've made a number of changes at selection, about 6 in fact, and just having a look at the top of my call sheet here, you look at the likes of Tyson Goldsack, Matt Scharenberg, Taylor Adams, who's coming back from a groin injury he sustained in Collingwood AFL's big round 7 win over Port Adelaide, and also Josh Thomas and Josh Dacos as well. So plenty of AFL experience out there for the Magpies this afternoon. And with the Seagulls, it's a pretty settled lineup. Just no changes, I'm led to believe, from last week. In fact, 1 change. So just the 1 change. Mitch Norton coming in as I welcome in our man on the boundary this afternoon, Glenn Hill. Have you got me, Hilly?
What a glorious afternoon in terms of sunshine, but unfortunately it's bitterly cold at ground level.
Yes, that's right, it is. Don't envy you this afternoon, Hilly. Was just talking in the intro a little bit about the form of both sides coming in. The Pies have won 3 in a row after a really disappointing start to the season, and Williamstown, of course, they're always a pretty consistent team, Hilly.
They certainly are, and they have been for such a long time. Really well coached by Andy Collins. And look, it's great to see that Collingwood have turned their fortunes around this season. Things were looking quite grim after about 5 rounds, and you didn't know which direction they were going to take. But they've turned things around here and looking to make it 4 on the trot today.
Yeah, that's right, and they only find themselves 1 game outside the top 8 as well. So a win here could do wonders for their finals chances, sitting at 5-7 at the moment in 11th place. Their percentage not too crash hot, but if they keep stacking up the wins, it might not matter for them, Hilly.
No, that's exactly right, and they've got a lot of momentum going into this game, and obviously playing on their home turf, and there's quite a few people rolling in as well, and it was certainly hard to get a car park outside the ground today, so I would dare say there'll be plenty of Collingwood supporters in tow.
Yeah, that's right, Hilly. Looking to do the double this weekend. The Pies, a thrilling victory last night over the West Coast Eagles in the AFL over in Perth, and as you said, I'm sure a number of Magpie fans, they do come out in numbers. There's quite a few of them in the stand at the Hoddle Street end of the ground this afternoon, waving their flags and whatnot. So they'll be looking to make it 2 from 2.
Yeah, they certainly will be, and you'd have to say that they're more than an even chance of getting over the top of Williamstown today. But in saying that, Williamstown have been so strong this season, so consistent, And I think we'll be in for a belting game. It's really hard to tip either way, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's right, Hilly. There are plenty of games going on in the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL this afternoon. One of those has already started. That's over at Windy Hill between the Bombers and the Kangaroos. And as you might expect, Essendon sitting on top of the ladder, off to a pretty good start in that one. Just about to tick into time on in quarter number 3 over at Windy Hill, and they lead it by 27 points. Noah Gown and Nino Lazaro have a couple of goals apiece. Mark Bagley, Josh Begley and Dylan Lant have also hit the scoreboard for Essendon. And for North Melbourne, 3-5-23 they are. Their goal kickers Tom Campbell, Lockie Hosey and also Brodie McLaughlin. So the scene is set here at Victoria Park. Umpires just about to make their way onto the field. The Pies have been out there for the best part of 10 minutes. No sign of the Seagulls just yet. We'll take a break and get ready for this one.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work. Totally Workwear.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
It's your job. You'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
There you go.
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly, you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations, plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer
or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes behind.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport. Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Welcome back to Victoria Park, where it will be Collingwood hosting Williamstown in round 15 on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live. Michael Peppicelli and Glen Hill boundary side with Adam Sarakoglu about to join us as well in the lead up to this crucial contest for both sides. Bounce time scheduled for 2 o'clock. We're about 6 minutes away from that. We have had final teams just come across our desks and we can confirm those with you right now. And, well, perhaps a couple of mind games from Andy Collins, because a couple of Magpies, former Magpies, are out this afternoon. Ben Kennedy and Sam McClarty, alongside Hisham Kerbatier. Those three out of the lineup, and Nick Ebinger is a late in, with Kennedy believed to have possibly hurt himself during the warm-up, and Mitch Norton, another inclusion, back into the side for his first game since round 7. As we mentioned before, it is a pretty strong Collingwood lineup with AFL listers such as Tyson Goldsack, Matt Scharenberg, Taylor Adams and Josh Thomas, all to come into the side for this afternoon. No late changes for the Pies, we're led to believe. 13 AFL listers out there this afternoon for Collingwood. Hilly, do you think that will give them a little bit of an advantage?
I certainly do. I think also playing on their home ground as well will play a part in today's game. The wind has really picked up and it's really swirling around the ground, so we won't really know probably until the game's underway whether there's an advantage either way, but certainly the Pies with 13 AFL listed players will certainly give them a little edge today, and certainly they've got the confidence as well coming off the 3 consecutive wins, looking for 4 today.
Yeah, they certainly. Welcome in for the first time this afternoon, Adam Sarakoglu. Adam, welcome.
Good to be here, Michael. Hello, is it Hilly today? We got boundary side. I've rolled up very last minute, but hello, Hilly. Great day, Victoria Park. I've got one of those days today where it's kind of 4 seasons in one day. I can tell you, driving here, I drove through some hail and some pretty bad rain, and I get here and it's a beautiful sunny day. I'm not sure what the wind is doing, but it's certainly a windy day around certain parts of Melbourne today as well. It's looking like a good day for football here. A pretty important game as well between two sides with, Williamstown with almost top 2 aspirations. Probably can't get into the top 2 today, but Collingwood with top 8 aspirations with a pretty bad percentage as well. So plenty on the line for both sides.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. As you said, the scene is set for a cracking contest here at Victoria Park. The Magpies just had a really difficult start to the season. They lost a few close games to the likes of Geelong, the Northern Blues, and also one of the other teams in that part of the ladder, the Sandringham Zebras, but they've been able to right the ship somewhat over the last 3 weeks. Plenty of experience comes back into the lineup this afternoon. They'll be looking to take it right up to this Williamstown outfit. As we mentioned earlier, just the 1 loss in their last 7 games. Of course, a draw mixed in there as well. But the Seagulls are going pretty well, and we think the Magpies might be able to challenge them today.
Yeah, certainly. The Pies, they're coming in pretty good form of late, albeit a 3-point win only against Werribee, and the North Melbourne win. North Melbourne not going too great so far this year, but the run home for Collingwood in particular is relatively kind. The only quote-unquote extremely tough game coming up would be against Richmond in a couple of weeks' time. That one's actually going to be at Olympic Park, not here at Victoria Park, and then Box Hill to end the season. But other than that, games against teams in the bottom half of the ladder as we speak. So the Pies have an okay run home. As far as Williamstown is concerned, a little bit tougher. 3 current top 8 sides in their run home. But next week, the Northern Blues at Icon Park. Collingwood should at least potentially start that as maybe a favourite. And a Kobe game in there as well, but they still got the Bombers to come, who are of course the current top of the ladder side. So it's interesting runs home for both of these sides. Collingwood with the 2 wins of late. Williamstown have been very mixed with their form, and pretty good win against Frankston last week. Of course, a couple of late changes which do make things quite interesting, obviously, with Kennedy. Do we know what happened? Apparently in the warm-up, I think, Kelly, Kennedy was a late withdrawal today, and Ebinger, not originally named in the side, he's going to be out there for the Seagulls.
Yeah, that's what I believe has occurred in the warm-up. He sustained an injury of some sorts, and they didn't want to take the risk with him and have pulled him out.
All set to go here at Victoria Park. It is round 15 in hard jacket, totally workwear VFL action. One man I'm looking forward to watching today, gents, is number 50 for Collingwood, the 2014 Liston Trophy winner in Alex Woodward. He's going to start on the bench, it would seem. It's about to run past you as we speak, Hilly, but he's in the kind of form at the moment that might earn him a second Liston Trophy the way he's going, Hilly.
He certainly has had a solid year. Obviously, he's had his injury troubles over the years, but it's great to see him out there and stringing a lot of games together.
has played every game this season, has Alex Woodward, and that's not really been something you've been able to say for him over the journey. We know 4 knee reconstructions, such bad luck, but he is out there this afternoon, and he's in the top 5 in the VFL in total disposals, so he's having an outstanding season, but he'll face a tough task in the engine room because Williamstown have a pretty good midfield themselves. See Mitch Hibbert and Willie Wheeler making their way into the centre square alongside their all-world ruckman Nick Meese and Liam Hunt in there as well. So it'll be a big game for both sides. Taylor Adams is in there as well as we're ready to get underway. Here's Adam Sarakoglu.
Nick Meese is the hit-out king of the VFL and has been for some time now. Perfect bounce to get round 15 underway for the Magpies and the Seagulls. A nice little handball from Tyler Brown. It's Collingwood that get the first clearance of the game. It's bouncing at half forward, just overrun initially by Masters near the boundary line. Broomhead with the tackle. Will hold things up right next to that boundary line, just outside 50 for the Magpies, attacking the Luley Street end of the ground, the railway side of the ground. Umpire throws it up. Beautiful sunny day just north of Melbourne. Umpire will cross his arms once more. Northeast, if you like. Nice little crowd is built in. Of course, Collingwood getting a 1-point win last night in the AFL. And the Victorian-based supporters, this will be their Collingwood fix for the weekend with the AFL side flying back from WA. Ball is in the middle of the ground here as we speak. Was that a push in the back? Umpire said no. Another tackle laid, although that's going to be a free kick. It might have been a bit of high contact. Goldsack has to give it back to Jake Greiser.
Always an aggressive tackler, Tyson Goldsack. That one just a little bit too aggressive on that occasion as Greiser pumps the Seagulls inside forward 50 for the first time this afternoon. Scharenberg gets the fist in, but only as far as mark on. His snap at goal didn't really get anywhere, and Collingwood able to clear, but it's going to come straight back because the mark has been taken for Williamstown by Hunt at left half forward. Just takes a moment to sum up his options before pulling the kick into the pocket. Rodder's there. No mark taken. Keane at the bottom of that for the Magpies. Gets the handball away and Will's happy to see it over. So approaching 2 minutes gone in this opening term. Neither side able to put a score on the board just yet. The Seagulls do have it inside forward 50. As the ball's tossed back in, Meese, the bodywork was good on Riley Smith, the 23rd man this afternoon for the Pies with no Max Lynch or Lockie Howe out there, and we'll get another ball up. Plenty of numbers around this footy. Every player on the ground is in the Williamstown forward half as we get another stoppage.
Just while we've got another stoppage here, certainly the wind might favour the left of screen today, so look out for that as the wind picks up.
Wheeler pressured as soon as the ball came near him, and we've got another stoppage inside 50 here for the Seagulls. Around the grounds, it's a 3/4 time lead of 20 points for the Bombers against North Melbourne at Windsor Hill as Meese gets a very high ball. Tarvey underneath it, no mark taken. Smith was out the fall for Collingwood. Now Goldsack concedes some ground. And the Pies will clear defensive 50% of Alagi underneath this one. Singh got a fist. It's a boundary throw in. 6 syllables in that last name of 2% of Alagi. I famously had trouble at Windsor Hill earlier in the year, Hilly. Calling that one with Peter Mercado.
It's a tough one. It's a bit like college Ajni.
I've practiced it all week and I won't stuff it up, I promise. Umpire brings this ball in. Hunt's interesting handball on his wrong hand there, but he did well to get it to Wheeler. Then Marcon's kick was smothered. Boundary throw in.
Highly suspect handball from Hunt then. Looked to be...
he was on his wrong hand, Hilly.
Looked to be nearly one-handed.
Yeah. So boundary throw in front of Williamstown's bench. No doubt that's where Andy Collins is set up for the day. Meese again wins the tap against the young ruckman in Riley Smith. No Lynch out there today for Collingwood. They have got the ball here off half back and a little kicking board, not 15. So the Pies now work. It's a half forward by a foot eventually, but Charleston in the right spot for the Seagulls. Highly rated down at Williamstown is Jack Charleston. He'll go to his fellow former Western Jet in Jake Greiser.
Having a very good season is Jake Greiser. That's not his best effort though on the kick. Wills had it bounce off his chest, but able to recover and fire it off to Scharenberg. Always composed under pressure is this man. And that kick was a good one. The mark taken by Gallucci on centre wing. Wants to go quickly. Gives it off to Thomas. He has a man in board and he gives it off. And a little bit of Hollywood stuff there. The handball and a chance now for the first goal of the afternoon. Matt Smith drills it. Great footy from the Pies and they get the first.
Really explosive start for the Pies, working against the wind, I would say, in the first quarter, and just working as a unit. Really hung in there defensively in those first few minutes to create stoppage after stoppage, and when they got their chance to break, they certainly did set up a nice goal to start the game.
Now, Hilly, unlike the AFL, runners are allowed on the ground at any time during the game. Collingwood still has someone on the bench that's holding up signs right in front of you.
Yeah, it's a bit of a conundrum, that one, isn't it?
You've just dropped out, Hilly.
Got the best of both worlds going is what I was saying there, Adam.
So runners are allowed out there at any time, unlike the AFL. That's interesting to see. Umpire puts it down, back in the middle, first blood to the Pies, and while they are underdogs today, they are looking to potentially deliver a big blow for Williamstown. A good mark taken, a centre-half forward by Mundy. He was playing only his 5th game, has not got a goal. So far, he's directly in front. And the mark has been set just inside 50, a chance for the quick response for the Seagulls. Tom Mundy, what's the wind doing, Kelly?
It's certainly helping him, coming over his right shoulder.
The kick here, well, he might need the winds here. Carries just over the line. It wasn't perfect purchase, but he does kick the goal. And within about 30 seconds of the opening goal of the game for Collingwood, Tom Mundy gets one back for the Seagulls, and it's one straight 6 apiece.
Yes, just shows you the value of the breeze there. I get the feeling if he didn't have the breeze at his back, it wouldn't have cleared the line. So certainly an advantage to the left of screen.
Round the ground's a very good start for the Northern Blues against Port Melbourne at Adcon Stadium. Paddy Kerr and Jesse Palmer have goals for the Blues. 2-1-13. Port Melbourne yet to score.
Entertaining start to this one on Hard Yakka. Totally Workwear VFL Live. 7 minutes in, both sides, one straight 6 apiece as Woodward trying to burrow his way through. Left the footy behind though. Still a chance for Collingwood. Dacos through the traffic nicely, gives it off to Woodward, and his kick is high up and under towards the broadcast side. Tardrew there for the Magpies. Mark on for Williamstown. Ball not quite over just yet. Eventually it is taken over by the Williamstown skipper. So as we said in the pre-game, a big game for the Magpies, looking to make it 4 in a row and keep themselves in the hunt for a top 8 position. All for the Seagulls, they're trying to fortify their own spot in the top 4 as a couple of handballs smothered. Eventually Woodward emerges with it. Tardrew now for Collingwood, sends it towards half forward, but that kick well read by Singh, and he went immediately, had a man in the middle of the ground. That was Masters. It was a bit messy, but it got to him. Now a chance for the Seagulls to go forward, and the mark taken by Donnell. With that breeze at his back, he might just be within range, but he's looking to pass it off, and now he's going back and saying, I can do this. So we've heard Glenn Hill mention a couple of times the breeze will favour the left of screen this afternoon. Sam Donnell's going to test that out as he kicks from 55, coming off 3 goals last week. Had the journey covered, but didn't have the accuracy. Through for a minor score, and the Seagulls lead it by that point.
Tyson Goldsack to bring this in. Pies have a couple of players out there today with AFL Grand Final experience. Taylor Adams, who's on the bench at the moment, played in last year's decider for the Pies. Wills takes a very good mark in front of Willie Wheeler. Of course, a lot of VFL Premiership players out there for the Seagulls as well from the 2015 triumph as Wills towards centre wing over the head of Pacena Valagi. Was he holding? Free kick will go to Seagulls' way to be taken by Jack Dorgan. Just behind True, centre wing. As Dorgan throws onto the left, goes into attack once more for the Seagulls. Over the head of Rodder, no mark taken, hunts at the 4. Wheeler gets onto the left. It's an empty square for the time being, but it wasn't quite a shot, just a lob toward the goal square. One back for the Pies. Now a high ball in the right spot, mark taken there for the Seagulls by Daly Andrews, another one of those late inclusions. And he's going to think about a shot with the breeze potentially favouring.
This shot at goal should swing a little bit right to left. That breeze is certainly coming from across the ground.
So Andrews, 45-degree angle. Tries to improve it late, but he hooked his kick pretty badly, hits the behind post. Out of bounds on the full. Williamstown 1-1-7, Collingwood 1 straight 6. As we approach the 10-minute mark of this opening term. Round 15 from Victoria Park on Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear VFL Live.
Tardrew to take the free kick, sends it long towards half-back. Wills and Smith contesting for the Pies. Got it to ground, but Williamstown had the representation at ground level, eventually taken by Dacos. Played the 1-2 with Smith. Now Goldsack under a bit of pressure from Wheeler. Eventually just decides to get it on the boot, but it's touched off the boot, in fact, so Tippett had to play on. Ball just on the boundary line here. It's going to come straight back in for the Seagulls. And the mark is taken by Donnell in the left forward pocket. So Williamstown playing the territory game at the moment. The Pies really struggling to get it out of their back half. And Sam Donnell can go back for his second shot at goal of the afternoon. This will be a tough kick. Has to start it right, and he doesn't start it far right enough. Missing to the near side. Sam Donnell has 2 behinds, and that's the margin by which the Seagulls lead.
You get the feeling just wasting a few chances here. The Seagulls.
Josh Dacos already up to 5 disposals for the Pies, and we're going to get a free kick here for the Seagulls. It was a good tackle, Healy, and the free kick to be taken by Mitch Norton. Second shot of the day for the Seagulls from this sort of range. We saw Sam Donnell a little earlier have a shot.
He's taking a long run up here, Mitch Norton, but I think he'd have the legs from there. He's not a bad kick of the football.
Marks at about 47 metres, Mitch Norton. This would be, even if he misses, his first score for the season. The plant leg was right on 50. It's going to land at the top of the square. Rush through. Big fist by Tyson Goldsack. And another minor score for the Seagulls. 139 playing 1 straight 6. 12 minutes in. Here is Goldsack to bring it in for the Magpies.
Just need to possess the footy for the moment, Collingwood. They're really struggling to get it outside defensive 50. Goldsack runs his full measure and then just pumps it as far out as he can, and out of bounds. Not a good result, not a bad result, I should say, in front of Thomas for Collingwood. So 12 and a half minutes in, the Seagulls lead at 139 to 1 straight 6. Round 15 action on Hard Yakka. Totally Workwear VFL Live. That boundary throw-in fell short, which played into Meese's hands. Then he went and laid a strong tackle on Wills, with Wheeler getting involved as well. Certainly not a sandwich you want to be in between Willie Wheeler and Nick Meese, but Wills able to withstand, and we get a stoppage.
Taylor Adams just onto the ground for the Pies.
Restricted minutes, I reckon, today.
Haven't called his name too often just yet. He's missed the best part of 2 months with a groin injury, so we do expect he might be on a minute's restriction this afternoon, as Adam said.
Josh Thomas out there now as well.
So the ball spins back into play. That ruck contest played out to be a draw. Wheeler receives the handball from Norton and gets it on his boot towards half forward, where Donnell takes the mark. Has Rodder leading for him into the pocket, and the kick was spot on.
Of course, once upon a time, Williamstown was Collingwood's VFL affiliate, going back 10-15 years.
They certainly were. Won the 2003 premiership together. Dane Swan was out there for Williamstown that afternoon. They do have a little bit of history, these two clubs. as Rodder prepares to take his set shot. Leading goal kicker for the Seagulls this season and third overall in the VFL. That one's a helicopter. Won't make the distance. The Pies using it by hand here inside defensive 50. Scharenberg on the last line of defence, but he's turned it over to Myers.
Might be too far out to score. Does want to reel around onto the right and then set it up for the hot spot. Plenty of Magpies there. It slipped through the hands of Atavi. No mark taken. Ground level. Hetherington, the former Seagull himself, lays the tackle ball up. Top of the square here for the Seagulls. They're leading by 3 points if you're listening to us on SEN2 today. VFL Live, Adam Sarikoglu, Michael Pepichelli, Glenn Hill. It's hacked out of the congestion and a goal for Williamstown. We'll confirm the goal kicker as soon as we can. Adam Marcon, I believe it is. And the Seagulls get their second, 2-3-15. Collingwood 1 straight 6.
If you're watching us...
Bit of confusion here on the Pies bench. It's very late to get back out onto the ground here, but I think we'll avoid the 6-6-6.
If you're watching us on VFL.com.au, you saw the finish there from Adam Marcon. Just got it onto the boot in the congestion, and well, no one on the goal line for the Pies, so... A little bit of loose defending there, but the Seagulls get their second. They lead it by 9 points here at Victoria Park, which is bathed in sunshine, which we weren't expecting about 15 minutes ago, Hilly, as we get the restart in the middle of the ground. Woodward with first hands. Got it out, but a good tackle is laid on Hetherington. Did get boot to ball, though, so the Pies can progress. Wills got around a couple, then was run off his kick in the end. Lands fortuitously in the lap of Thomas. His handball might not get to its target. He might get it back, Thomas. No, it's Bosanavalagi instead. A chance for the Pies. Thomas kept running. Couldn't handle it, though. The Williamstown backline defending desperately, and Greiser clears for the Seagulls. And a nice mark taken on centre wing by Ebinger. Turns and goes immediately. He's got one-on-ones ahead of the ball. Keane with the job on Rodder. Rodder, you'd think, would have the advantage in that situation over their heads. Keane does well to lay the tackle, but he got him high.
Little stiff there, the Pies, because Rodder had slipped as he was going to ground. Just clipped him just above the shoulder.
So it'll be Rodder's free kick from just outside 50. He's not having a shot, but it's almost going to make the distance. Thumped through for a minor score.
In the end, not a sensible kick there from Nick Rodder. Should have gone top of the goal square. When you put those ones deep on the goal line, it's just too easy for the defenders to rush through.
So that extends the Williamstown lead to 10 points as Goldsack readies to take the kick in. Sending it long and wide to the broadcast side once again, but Williamstown wise to it. Masters gets the fist on it. Over the boundary line it goes. 17 and a half minutes gone in this opening term. Hard Yakka totally workwear VFL Live. Williamstown 2-4-16, leading the Pies 1 straight 6. Woodward had his handball partially smothered. They're doing well in the clearances, the Magpies, as Adams caught holding the ball. It'll be Andrews' free kick. About 65 out from home. Leads come, one from Donnell, but he's going to set it up instead, in the path of Donnell, in fact. Couldn't take the mark, and Collingwood had numbers at ground level. Broomhead assesses his options, finds Adams inboard. Through the traffic nicely, kick across the ground will sit up nicely for Goldsack, and has a man on. It's Tyler Brown.
The kick just forward of halfway. It's effective, and the mark is taken out there by Wilson. The left foot ball won't quite penetrate 50 over the head there of Hastwaite and out the back. The Seagulls do win it back. The mark's taken by Masters, and he'll send it back to where it came from. Toward the outer wing, Donnell, strong hands as Goldsack closed in on him. So Seagulls will utilise the outer side here as Donnell comes back inboard. A couple of options in the corridor. One of them is Singh. Gets off his handball to Mundy, first goal kicker of the game. Right foot into attack. It's a well-weighted ball. Ebinger in the right spot for the Seagulls. And another chance to get their third goal of the game.
Right behind this one, and he certainly needs to allow plenty out to the right. So far, all the kicks from this side have been shallow. So look for him to aim this one almost out towards the right behind post, probably just inside a couple of metres or so, and it should bend back on the breeze.
So Nick Ebinger, the right foot ball, hooked it off the boot, so it hugged the goalpost all the way, but it did fall on the right side of it, and another goal for the Seagulls. 3-4-22, Collingwood 1 straight 6, almost time on, opening term on Hard Jacker. Totally Workwear VFL Live.
Well, it's fair to say the Pies desperately need the next goal, and if they don't get it, they certainly need to plug some holes here, because Williamstown just opened them up in the last few minutes, been able to score too easily.
Around the grounds, the Northern Blues off to a very good start over at Adcon Stadium, leading Port Melbourne 21-0, almost into time on in that one, assuming there might be a little bit of a breeze over at Adcon Stadium. You know, it is situated very close to Port Phillip Bay. As we get ready to go once again in the middle, imagine the relief ruckman for Collingwood versus Atavi, and well, he was always going to win that one as the Pies go forward by foot, taken on the bounce by Chippendale, backwards to Smith, kicking board, okay, and the mark taken by Glover. Gives the handball off immediately, put Hetherington under a little bit of pressure, but Boston Avalagi able to gather. Gives it off to Thomas. Kick to no one in particular, really, inside forward 50. Williamstown has that covered as Tate kick smothered by Boston Avalagi, and the fans signal their appreciation. Exciting forward prospect is Atu Boston Avalagi. Came to the Pies via the Next Gen Academy in last year's draft. As the ball is tossed back in, Atavi with the aerial dominance, but clearance is only going to go as far as Hetherington. Handball almost over the head of Goldsack, but Pies able to work it out. They're wanting to play the corridor, and it's not working out for them at the moment. They've turned it over. Boston Avalagi applying the pressure, though, for the Magpies, but eventually Greiser able to grab it and not quite able to find his target. Picked up by Tardrew, spun 360 in the tackle, got the handball away, and you get the feeling both sides might just want it to go out of bounds here. It does stay in, but eventually it goes over.
Now the field umpire is blowing the whistle here. It's going to be a free kick for the Seagulls to be taken by Andrews. And he quickly goes inboard for Greiser. Can centre it to Nick Singh if he wants to, but he's looking more direct. The right foot ball will penetrate forward 50. Rodder goes up, no mark taken. At the fall was Pongracic, and the ball's hacked away. Boundary throw in. Right next to the behind post. And Hilly, old mate on the Collingwood bench, is going to have very sore arms if he has to do that for another 70 minutes.
Looks quite fit, so he might be right.
Umpire brings this into attack here for the Seagulls. Bouncing ball. The tackle from Glover. Some help from Dacos. The ball up. Seagulls looking for their fourth goal. Looks like they have the luxury of batting first here today at Victoria Park. Sonny's beaming down. The tackle without the ball, though, Atavi on Magin, and a free kick for the Magpies. Atavi, one of two Keilor-aligned players out there for the Seagulls today. Stefan Radovanovic, the 23rd man, also making his debut out of the Keilor Football Club. It's in the hands on the outer side here of Josh Thomas. It's going to go out of bounds, though, boundary throw-in. Left half forward for Collingwood. A fair bit of time on the pine for Alex Woodward today as well, Hilly. Started on the bench.
Conserving some energy to start the contest and then be thrown into it in the second quarter.
has had it 5 times so far, the 2014 Liston Trophy winner, as we see Collingwood work it out of the congestion. Hetherington now has it in the centre square. Didn't go back and assess his options. He was more quick to get it to Tardrew, who did fumble but does have time to regather. Inside 50, Seagulls had numbers and a good fly over the top, mark taken by Tippett.
Bosanavalagi, probably not the man you want to be putting a high ball in front of in a 4-on-1 situation inside forward 50, so the Pies probably just want to clean up their ball use going inside 50 as the Seagulls clear defensive 50. It might be coming straight back. Bounced off the chest of Glover. Goldsack overran it. Atavi eventually got his kick away as the cries for ball came from the crowd, but the Pies able to work it out. Smith plays the 1-2 and he can send the Pies into attack. That ball use is better. Doesn't quite hit the target though in Chippendale, and all he can do is roll it towards full forward. Seagulls able to defend this pretty easily, although the pressure was good from Smith, but Tippett able to clear once again, but a couple of Pies spoiled each other. Scharenberg and Glover going for the same footy, and the ball ends up over the line. So disappointing there from the Pies. That ball should have been going straight back inside forward 50, but they'll have to settle for a stoppage instead. Meese the man in front. Wheeler set upon though by Dacos, and we'll get another stoppage. 25 and a half minutes gone first term here at Victoria Park, the spiritual home of the Collingwood Football Club. And here at VFL level, they trail by 16 points as Madgen gathers, sends it high and long inside 50. Williamstown defending well. The fist comes in from Singh over the boundary line.
So we're just inside 50 for Collingwood, just the 1 goal to their name so far. Matt Smith kicked that, just his second of the season. Umpire brings this in. Meese almost clunked it from the ruck himself. It just eluded him at the last moment. Andrews lays the tackle to make sure that ball's not coming out. Another stoppage. Probably wouldn't expect an overly long quarter, although we've been caught out a number of times this year with very long quarters here on VFL Live. Meese, I think it was Geelong, Michael, at GMHBA Stadium.
That's
Cats
right.
Dolphins, where that game just kept going and going and going. Another stoppage. Umpire throws it up once more. Meese. He's the hit-out king of the VFL, as we know. Hibbert's handball to an under-pressure Ebinger, and he got slung into the turf by Tardrew, and a free kick going Williamstown's way. The umpire just wanted to potentially clear the congestion. Did pick out the free kick. Ebinger from left half back. Had plenty of space to deliver towards half forward. Hibbert's there. Rodder as well. Off hands it comes. Hetherington's going to escort the ball over the line. He was helped over in the end by Liam Hunt, the former Coburg Lion. Boundary throw-in.
Leading disposal winner on the ground is Liam Hunt, has 10. Goldsack leading the way for Collingwood with 8. As we get a boundary throw in, 27 and a half minutes into this opening term. Meese playing in front, then laid a strong bump on Smith. He's still down, Matt Smith. As we get another stoppage. Trainer comes out to him, but waves him away. So it's going to be a ball up, 55 out from the Williamstown goal. They'd love to pile on another one before quarter time, but they won't do so here as we get a ball up. 3-4-22, plays one straight 6. Williamstown doing it nicely at the moment. Collingwood just a little bit haphazard going forward, and that's why they haven't been able to put much of a score on the board. 12 inside 50s to 6 in favour of the Seagulls, and might just inch forward another one here as Woodward's taken down in the tackle. So this stoppage will be right on the paint of 50. Meese got a hand to it, and Hibberd got the clearing kick away. 36 disposals for him last week as the Seagulls trounced Frankston, but That kick didn't really result in anything. Forward pressure really good though from the Seagulls, but the Pies eventually able to work it out, just struggling to find targets. And the best they can hope for at the moment is a stoppage. 29 minutes gone now, opening term. 16-point lead for the Seagulls. Meese, he's just having his way in the ruck contest early on in this one, and eventually a free kick is paid to be taken by Taylor Adams. As the siren sounds for quarter time, Williamstown 3-4-22, leading Collingwood 1 straight 6. That quarter going 29 and a half minutes. A little bit haphazard going forward, the Pies. They'll be looking to make better of that with what we believe to be the scoring end in the second term. Adam, you've got some goal kickers for us.
Nick Ebinger, Adam Marcon and Tom Mundy are your goal kickers for the Seagulls so far. Matt Smith, the lone goal kicker for Collingwood, and it is the Seagulls obviously leading by 16 points at quarter time.
It certainly is. We'll take a short break and be back with the second term after this.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
Totally Workwear.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport. Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Welcome back to Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live, where it's Williamstown 3-4-22, leading Collingwood 1 straight 6 here at quarter time. Plenty of Pies fans in the house here at Vic Park, but they won't be too happy with what they're seeing so far. Adam, have you got a few stats to run us through?
Tyson Goldsack, the leading ball getter for Collingwood, but that's obviously because of 4 behinds for Williamstown, and Goldsack is the man with the kicking in duties. Lockie Tardrew has 7. Josh Dacos has 6, and then 5 each to Tyler Brown, as well as Sam Glover and Madgen as well. In fact, throw in Matt Smith, Alex Woodward, all with 5. As we go to Williamstown, Liam Hunt, the leading ball getter, on the ground with 10. As we speak, Greiser has 6, and then 4 each for Daly Andrews, Sam Donnell and Nick Meese. 22 hit-outs for Nick Meese. And interesting stat I came across this week, Michael Pepicelli, averaging 46.4 hit-outs per game. That is almost... That's actually more than 11 on average than the second highest hit-out winner, which is Tom Campbell of North Melbourne at 35 as we speak. So that's a pretty remarkable number, but we're not surprised because Nick Meese has been doing that for years now here in the VFL.
No, that's right, Adam, and funnily enough, he's probably one of the shortest ruckmen going around these days as well. 197 centimetres when you're coming up against the likes of the 2 metre plus ruckmen on AFL.
The thing about Nick Meese is, you're right about the height, but he's very well built. And he doesn't look like an AFL ruckman. You see a lot of rucks these days, they are a bit more athletic and a bit leaner. You can't say that about Nick Meese. So he'll outbody you in the ruck contest more often than not. That's how he gets so many of his hit-outs, because you do look at him to the naked eye, he doesn't actually look like an AFL standard ruckman, which is how his body's built. But he's so effective for the Seagulls, has been for a while now.
No, that's right. Plenty of veteran guile and craft as well in the way he goes about things, and well, no surprise, he's already almost halfway to his average. 22 hit-outs after one quarter.
Just going to come in quickly, boys. Jared Rivers joining us. Off to a hot start and got the first goal, but unfortunately after that it was sort of all Williamstown.
Yeah, it's tricky conditions out here, mate. But I thought we held on pretty well, to be honest, especially the second half of the quarter. So we just got to get back to playing our way, and hopefully these going to win this quarter. We've got to challenge them defensively. I reckon they'll like to make it kick along to a contest and try and just really slow the ball and the tempo down for us. So we just got to challenge them a little bit with their offence.
And looking to increase your tackling pressure?
Yeah, we were plus 10 in tackle, so I thought around the contest we were actually okay. Contested possession we were minus 6, I think, so we just got to get a little bit better around the ball, but I thought our intent was okay.
Beautiful. Let you get back to it. Thanks Jared.
So big thank you to Jared Rivers for joining us out of the quarter time huddle. He seemed reasonably pleased with how the game's gone so far. Perhaps expected Williamstown to start hot, having that wind advantage in the opening term, but he'll be looking to make sure his Pies can do the same or even more going with the breeze in this second term. As the players just making their way back to their positions, and well, in fact the players are in positions but the fans aren't quite yet. Plenty of fans here at Victoria Park, and plenty of those Collingwood fans who came over for the huddle just trying to make their way back on the outer side.
Well, the Seagulls are getting first juice, and that is because of the impact of Nick Meese, but Collingwood has been severely hamstrung with their ruck stocks, rolling with Riley Smith as the main ruck, as a 23rd man. You know, it's not often you see a 23rd man as a ruckman here in the VFL. No Max Lynch out there today for the Pies, so it's probably not a huge shock that with the breeze, the Seagulls had the advantage in the opening term as the umpire puts it down, and quarter number 2 is underway at Victoria Park. Another hit out for Nick Meese. There's a hold and a free kick for Collingwood though, out of the middle. And it's going to be taken by Wills, just behind the circles as the Pies go into attack. The mark was just dropped at the last minute there by Glover, then had to meet the body on body. Not allowed to release by Tippett. The umpire blows the whistle. We're inside 50 for Collingwood. They need the first goal of this second term. They trail by 16 as we speak. Umpire throws it up. Meese tries to win it down to Hibbert. Wrapped up his Brown. Tyler out here today. Of course, Callum in the AFL side as we speak, as we see Smith win the tap this time for Collingwood. A lot of congestion around this ball. Charleston trying to extract it for Williamstown. Another stoppage.
They do like to close the game down, the Seagulls. They play a very contested brand of footy, lots of stoppages.
You have to, given what their home ground is, and these sorts of windy conditions are the norm for Williamstown.
That's right, and it certainly suits them with having big Nick Meese in the ruck as well, so that plays to their strengths, but the ball is extracted. Brown Snaps at goal, but screwed it around too far. Sneaks in for a minor score. Back that margin now back to 15 points. 3-4-22. Plays 1-1-7 as the kick in comes for Williamstown. Long and wide again. Good mark taken by Atavi. Had the height advantage over everyone there and just stuck the mitts up and took it. Called to move on. And he's just going to poke it up the line. Scharenberg well placed though. And he takes an intercept mark. Has it on the broadcast wing. Adams calling for it short. He wants to go longer. Slipped as he kicked. Bosanavalagi did well to make a contest out of it. Tip it at ground level. Collingwood possessing it though. Dacos shoots it back out to Wills, but he's set upon immediately. And the umpire crosses his arms.
In front of the Williamstown bench, Andy Collins watches on. Would have played plenty of footy in his time here at Victoria Park in the brown and gold. Umpire throws it up. Meese almost removed his own tap, then fumbled over the line. Boundary throw in. Around the grounds, Essendon on their way to a win against North Melbourne. In fact, that's gone actually final and a 50-point win for the Bombers. And the Northern Blues, a good start against Port Melbourne at Adcon Stadium. No one's looming as a potential upset. Hetherington, hand pass intercepted. Seagulls win it back. The kick to no one, though. Could be deliberate. Umpire says no. Boundary throw in. Right on centre wing in front of the gates. Alex Woodward and Lockie Tardrew waiting to come on for Collingwood, but no one wants to come off. The interchange steward is holding up the numbers. Umpire brings it in. Right on centre wing in front of Glenn Hill. Meese front position. Falcon. There was a Falcon on Riley Smith. Another ball up. Tardrew now does come on for Campbell Lane. 15-point ball game here in favour of Williamstown. The ball's overrun by Dacos. Tardrew wrapped up in the tackle. Dacos brought down by Hibbert. It's locked up. Another stoppage. A lot of those so far today. This is all happening in front of the Collingwood bench. Ball will be thrown up once more. Neeson Smith, there was a ruck infringement. It was given away by Nick Meese and a free kick to go Riley Smith's way.
Fair to say the crowd's happy about that one as well, Adam, as Smith goes backwards for Tardrew, inside defensive 50. Ran off his mark, so had to play on, and Tardrew and Smith just play a little bit of kick to kick. But eventually they decide that moving forward might just be the way to go, and Dacos has it now, left half back. Back in the VFL after a 2-game AFL stint, and his ball up the line, slapped over by Tippett.
One game to come later on today in the Hard Jacket Totally Workwear VFL. 3:45 start for Geelong and Sandringham.
That one a curtain raiser for tonight's game between the Cats and the Saints as Smith, one way then the other. Good tackle by Hunt. And he takes him over. 10 touches for Liam Hunt in that first term, leading disposal winner on the ground. Coming off a big game last week as well, had 35 and a goal, if you don't mind, against Frankston. As the Seagulls had a little bit of a party at Downer Oval, Meese handball to no one in particular, and it rolls over.
As you can hear through the effect mics, this wind has really picked up in the last 10 minutes or so, and it's ripping right across the ground, certainly favouring still the left of screen.
How many goals do you think, Hilly?
Oh, it'd be a 5-goal breeze now. It's really strong.
The Pies need to take advantage of it, and they get it moving forward. Bosanavalagi, the quick hands were brilliant. Broomhead back in board to Smith. Those two look alike, if you don't mind. Rolling inside forward 50. But Williamstown just have all the answers defensively at the moment. Such a well-drilled side. Donnell parked under this one in a one-on-one with Appleby. And young Flynn wins that one and slaps it over the line.
It's the Brands Birchall situation that I've got for Box Hill / Hawthorn.
That's right, we did see that one last week. Big win for Box Hill in that game, and a very good game as well, Adam, but we did have a little bit of trouble.
Well, I did anyway.
Differentiating
between...
They were
wearing different coloured boots, which was handy.
Brandon Birchall. No, I'm glad you pointed that out, otherwise I wouldn't have realised, as The Seagulls send it towards half forward, but out of bounds on the full. It'll be Appleby's ball. Although then again, Adam, man buns are pretty common in the AFL in footy these days, and you look at Smith and Broomhead.
So Broomhead black boots, Smith white boots. That's the answer to the conundrum today.
Thank you for that. Is Appleby's kick. That might be a contact below the knees free, and there is one of those men we were just talking about, Matt Smith. He's been a very good player for the VFL Magpies this season, averaging 16 disposals a game, and a great mark taken by Chippendale. Not paid. Have a sense of theatre, umpire. Probably didn't have enough of it, but it was a great fly by Chippendale. Not rewarded in the end, and we get a stoppage inside forward 50. Pies pressing here, but just not able to get any clean ball movement going forward. Trying to extract his Gallucci. Crowd wanted a free kick for high. None forthcoming. And we'll get another stoppage, about 48 out from the Magpies goal.
Interesting setup here too, with no one in the goal square at the moment. If they get a quick kick to the goal square, there's nobody there.
Tardrew pops it up towards the hot spot. Mark not quite taken for Collingwood, but we get a whistle for a holding free. And it's going against the Pies. Crowd thought it was going their way. The umpire initially pointed the wrong way, but it'll be Tate's ball inside defensive 50. Sets it up wide. Smith. A couple of Seagulls hanging off him, and he's dragged over.
I think we can lock ourselves in for a really scrappy contest for the remainder of the day. Williamstown really locking down at the moment, trying to keep things in close and in tight.
You stark contrast to what we saw last night between Collingwood and another team that wears these colours. Bouncing ball picked up by Ebinger. That's going to be out of bounds on the full. Not sure why he chose to put boot to ball there, Hilly. All momentum was heading toward the grandstand.
Yep. Yeah, he just needed to let the tackler take him over the line there. Mistake. Matt Smith to take the kick on the boundary.
Right in front of Glenn Hill. Could almost touch him and tell him where to kick it. Smith. The right foot ball. Collingwood into attack once more, but Seagulls have numbers. Mark dropped by Masters. Tackle late here by Thomas. He's on all fours. Adams comes in to help, and a ball up on the paint of 50 for the Pies. Need to get moving. Collingwood just the one behind so far in this quarter. Williamstown yet to score in a quarter that is now 9 minutes old. Going nowhere here is Smith. Ball up.
It's Broomhead, Adam.
Couldn't see the boots that time. Umpire throws it up once more. Smith does win a tap down. Woodward did well. Releases Hetherington from 50. Kicks on the way. Pies need a goal. Sean Hetherington delivers here at Victoria Park. 2-1-13 Collingwood. Williamstown 3-4-22. Almost 10 gone second term.
That's what they were looking for, just that burst from the contest. It was just so in and tight. It's been like that for the last 5, 6, 7 minutes. And just needed a burst of play from the Pies, and they got that, and Hetherington delivered from outside 50. Fantastic goal for the Pies.
So it took just under 10 minutes, but the Pies finally have a goal in this second term. Well, we finally have a goal at all in this second term. Williamstown wanting to shut the game down, and they've done a very good job of it. But Collingwood that time just able to get something going, and the kick from Tardrew was very good. The kick from Hetherington, I should say. Margin back to 9 points. That bounce might be recalled, and it will be. Too easy for Atavi on that occasion. So we just wait for the players to reset. Smith did well in the air, got it down, but it was all Seagulls. But the Pies did well to close them down and not allow them to progress forward. Round 15 action, Hard Yakka, Totally Workwear VFL Live. Smith for Collingwood dragged down, and we'll get another stoppage. Hibbard laying the tackle on that occasion, having an outstanding season for Williamstown, playing his 50th VFL game, in fact. A former AFL listed Kangaroo, and he extracts on this occasion. Couldn't quite get boot to ball, but eventually intercepted by Thomas for Collingwood, gives it back to Smith, and he just hacks it inside forward 50. Body work by Wilson was good, but the ball eluded him. It eluded everyone, in fact. Seagulls got back to it first. Good pressure by Hustwaite. Sees the ball over the boundary line for Collingwood.
It just seems a long road back from Williamstown. Once you're in that back half, you're deep in that back 50. Kicking into a really strong breeze at the moment, so if they want to move the ball forward and get a score on the board, it's going to take a lot of great teamwork off halfback.
3-4 plays, 2-1. As a quick snap comes from Adams, it's coming back and it's through. Welcome back to footy, Taylor Adams.
That certainly lit the fans up at the stadium today. Taylor Adams, everybody's popped down to see what sort of form he's in, and obviously on the road back to the seniors, and that's a great goal, snapping straight off the pack there.
6 touches for Taylor Adams with that goal, and 6 tackles as well. We know he's an in and under player, and he loves to do the tough stuff, and that time a little bit of finesse from Taylor Adams, and that brings the Pies back to within 3 points.
So just the one goal toward the railway end of the ground so far today. That was Matt Smith in the first quarter for Collingwood. Seagulls have not added to their quarter time score in 13 minutes of footy, as another bounce goes outside the circles. Our regular audience knows how I feel about this. Everyone resets and we go again. Time lost on the clock, of course, which is why this is all farcical. Meese grabbed it from the ruck, then got grabbed. Got his kick away. It didn't go 15. No mark was paid. Now Gariza does send the Seagulls into attack. High ball to right half forward. Not enough on it there for Mundy to be paid the mark. This is Smith. Hand pass off to Dacos. Left foot goes down the line. Besenavalagi coming onto the bouncing ball here and does. It's Besenavalagi. Gets away from one tackler. Hand pass off for Thomas. Collingwood can go for 2 in a minute. But a dribbling ball, not great. Doesn't even get to the goal line. It's play on. Now it goes over. Not a great shot at all from Josh Thomas, and a minor score for Collingwood. 3-2-20 playing 3-4-22. 14 gone second term.
Usually an accomplished finisher, Josh Thomas just didn't adjust for the breeze on that occasion, and a great effort on the goal line from Ollie Tate. Prevented a behind initially, but eventually it was rushed through for the Pies, and they've worked it to centre wing here.
That ball
have
was
the
touched.
Seagulls, but
that ball was clearly touched.
Well, Glenn Hill had a very good view of it, but the mark was paid to Keane. And now Adams has it in the middle of Victoria Park. The game just opening up slightly as Wilson takes it. Another fascinating story is Tom Wilson, a former Australian boomer and college basketballer, signed by the Magpies in May. He drives it towards full forward, but the Seagulls prevail, and Tate's kick wide. Atavi one-on-one, has the height advantage on Magin, but the latter did really well. Ran to 55 and pumped it long to the hot spot. Who's there for the Pies? Broomhead got a hand to it. Williamstown defending desperately.
There was a kick out of mid-air there from a Pies player. It might have made contact to a Williamstown player. I think we'll see the Williamstown player get the free kick here.
Kicking in danger.
Tippett, the man to take it on the last line of defence.
It's a little worse for wear as well is Joel Tippett, so he gives off the handball. The release kick is going to come from Dorgan. Bit of a helicopter. The wind took it a long, long way. Keane, it's either going to be a mark or the free kick for out of bounds on the full.
He might have juggled it over, in fact.
No, the boundary umpire called out in the full.
It's looking like we're going to set up for a boundary throw in. The locals are restless. Had a few umpiring decisions go against them so far today. Now really, 3 men in green having a conversation. It will be Keane's ball.
Really, really interesting, that one, because to me it didn't look like it was out in the full. It was a mark inside the field of play, but the boundary umpire did call out in the full.
So Keane gets around Rodder, holds on, now goes deep inside 50 again. The breeze carries it a long way. You did say before, Hilly, it's gotten stronger, this breeze, and we've seen a few balls now in the air just blow heavily toward this side of the ground as it's in flight.
Yeah, and I think the Pies are trying to actually work the ball to the more attacking side of the ground. It's just when they're caught on this stadium side or grandstand side of the ground, it's hard sometimes to get it right across to the front of the goals.
Yeah, the wind's going to bring the play to this side of the ground, I feel, with the way it's going at the moment. Here's W squared, Wheeler. And clunking it was Myers. Took a good mark for Williamstown. They'll look to set up a counter. But Myers holds up. Not much on offer. It's Harvey over the top. That's okay. Fairly long man is Joel Harvey, and he put the mitts up, Inspector Gadget style, took the mark. Just
look for them to be looking to spot up players, 20, 30 metre kicks. They're going to try and soak up some clock here. They've been under extreme pressure for the last 10 minutes.
Interesting ball for Masters. He'll go short for Greiser, just behind true centre half back. And the Seagulls to play some patient footy here halfway through the second term.
Pies playing a zone here. I'd probably be man on man at the moment.
Greiser's kick toward this broadcast side. Hibbert coming late to the contest, but going back was Sharonberg. He took a great mark.
He looks a little bit hurt too to Sharonberg.
They played a pushing free kick here to Williamstown.
Against Sharonberg.
Landed heavily, holding his elbow. So keep an eye on that as the game goes on. But Goldsack takes a nice mark himself. Inside defensive 50, spots a man on the fat side. It's Boston Avalagi one-on-one. He takes a nice juggling mark. Despite the protests of Dorgan, the mark was paid, and now the Pies are out here on the outer side. Smith can get it and go, drives it towards the pocket. To the advantage of the Williamstown defence, though, that fist comes, but Brown was the only man there. Gives it off to Broomhead. The Pies working with it inside forward 50. Smith, they've mucked it up here. No, not quite. Brown was excellent. Stiff-armed the defender. Gives it off to Wilson. Can he get boot to ball? No, not quite. The Seagulls defending desperately at the moment, and they do well to force a stoppage.
Good tackling pressure by the Seagulls that time. Singh, Hunt involved for Williamstown.
The only 2 goals of this second term have gone Collingwood's way, and they're looking to add to it here. 18 and a half minutes into this second term. They trail it by just the 2 points of the Pies as Madgen thumps it goalward. No one able to run onto it though, and it trickles harmlessly for a behind.
That's an interesting one because he's tapped that one. I know he's a long way out from goal, but he's tapped that one and it hasn't been touched by another player, and it's gone through for a point. I thought that was a free kick against, if you were to do that.
Probably won't see one paid when he's that far away.
Yeah, he certainly didn't intentionally mean to do it. It just wasn't touched by anybody.
Now, we've got a downfield free kick here. Collingwood's going to have a shot on goal from virtually point-blank range. A downfield umpire's paid something, and Glover is going to kick an easy goal here for Collingwood. This is a real gift. And the Pies hit the lead. No idea why it was paid, but Sam Glover will take it. And Collingwood leads 4-3-27, Williamstown 3-4-22. Almost time on second term. Any idea what that was for, Glenn Hill?
No, I totally missed that one. And you wouldn't think it was anything too untoward because there's been no remonstration afterwards. So really strange free kick. So I'm not sure what that was paid for, but the Pies have capitalised. Totally dominated this quarter. Williamstown have tried to hang in there as long as they could, but the floodgates have just opened up here a little bit. I expect the Pies to kick a couple more going into the halftime break.
They would love that, Hilly. I'm sure Jared Rivers would absolutely love his side to kick a couple more before half-time. They lead it by 5 points, but they do have the scoring end. Seagulls will get a clearance here. Ball bouncing there in the path of Wheeler, but not able to gather. And now a chance for Collingwood. They're surging through the middle of the ground. Hustwaite off to Wills. Wills one way, then the other. Gives it off to Woodward. Eventually the kick comes. It's not a great one, but it's kept alive here for Collingwood. Now a chance inside forward 50. Wilson the target over his head. And that's pretty tough to do with someone of his leaping ability, but again, the Seagulls defence holding on. That kick over the boundary line on the full, and the Pies will go once again.
that's just an example of how strong that breeze is. Really wasn't an inaccurate kick. The breeze just grabbed hold of it.
Dacos pops it up to the hot spot. Bossanavallagi at the back, couldn't quite bring it in. A chance for Broomhead. Soccer, it's bouncing the wrong side of the post. Another behind for the Pies. They are pressing at the moment. 4-4-28 they are, leading the Seagulls by a goal.
As Williamstown did in the first quarter though. Collingwood are peppering as Charleston again comes this near side. Over the head of Andrews, now at the back with Scharenberg. This one won't be taken off him. In toward the corridor he goes. Pies inside 50 once more. Big jump at the ball from Singh at the back. The shot from Galucci is missed. Another former Seagull out there, and he's missed to the left. Back to back behind. 4-4-28 to 3-4-22. In fact, we'll go 4-5, will we? 4-5-29 to 3-4-22. Another kick in. We start again. Hibbard the target this time. Ground level Hunt. He's gone straight for the boundary line there, but it's out of bounds on the full anyway. So a free kick to be taken. Tyson Goldsack stitched the long sleeves. He goes inside 50 for Collingwood. At the last moment, coming across was Masters to kill it off. Boundary throw-in.
3 goals, 5 to no score in the second term here at Victoria Park. 22.5 minutes gone. They've missed a few opportunities, the Magpies, but they're right in this on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live. Looking to make it 4 wins in a row against the ever-reliable Williamstown as Hibbard taken down by Woodward. And Scharenberg just let him know about it afterwards as well. They've lifted their intensity this quarter, the Magpies, and you can feel the crowd lifting with them. Another goal or two would almost blow the roof off this place. Not that there is a roof, but you know what I mean. As Hustwaite sends it inside forward 50 for the Pies. Wilson running onto it, tried to tap it on, but no one was on the receiving end. Just Greiser for Williamstown. And again, the Seagulls hold on, but a strong mark taken once again by Scharenberg. He is just patrolling the outside of defensive 50 for the Seagulls and marking everything in sight. Ball bounces for Broomhead, can't evade the tackler, gives it off to Thomas. Now Bossanavallagi, he burns him off with pace and then brings it back, but just a little bit too far. The crowd rode that one all the way through and it just hit the post. Thrilling stuff from the Pies, up to 4-6-30 now. Williamstown 3-4-22.
Nick Singh with the kicking in duties. Eppinger goes up and brings down a very good mark. Nice contested mark by Nick Eppinger, one of the late inclusions for the Seagulls. Also rushed in Daly Andrews at the last minute as well, did Williamstown. Eppinger's kick toward the wing. It's been a while since the Seagulls have even been this far up the ground. It's eventually hacked forward, held up a long way, and Appleby goes up and brings it down. Much to the delight of the home fans here at Victoria Park, and he's conceded ground. We are inside 50 for Williamstown, but it's a Collingwood ball. Dacos, interesting bounce that. Has plenty of space and time to decide what to do with it. Just overcooked it though for Goldsack, and it ricocheted back in his direction. It's up for grabs. Smith over the top of it, leading ball getter on the ground for Collingwood is Matt Smith at the moment. Now Broomhead collects. Plenty of space out the back for Hetherington in short. Okay, for Alex Woodward. That left half back for the Magpies. His kick's an interesting one. Riley Smith had eventually bounced into his lap, got off the handball. Hastwaite, Dandenong Stingrays premiership captain last year. Down the line he goes and reading it well in flight. Another good mark for Nick Eppinger.
Playing well for a late inclusion is Nick Eppinger. Having a good couple of minutes as he sends it long and wide, but too wide. And Glenn Hill gets his first touch of the afternoon. It'll be Matt Scharenberg's free kick. No, Hustwaite will be the man to take it. He's been a really impressive player for Collingwood's VFL side this year, as Campbell Hustwaite has He pops it up towards the 50. No mark taken. Adams tracking this. Spins out of one tackle. Couldn't spin out of the second, though. And the turnover is affected. Rodder a long way from home. Just sends it long, and Madgen gets there to take the mark just inside the field of play. Goes quickly, and that's okay to Woodward. And now they're going to possess it, the Pies. The mark taken here by Campbell Lane, who gets it and goes. Spots a man on the outer side, and that's okay. The mark taken by Appleby. Thought about going, but he's been called to play on. Has Keane calling for it broadcast side. Instead, decides to go even wider for Smith. But he's turned it over. That kick chopped off by Andrews. Has Hibbard calling for it in the centre circles. Decides just to go up the line instead. Spots Atavi. That's a good kick, actually. And now it opens up here for Williamstown. Hibbard still calling for it. He's the target of this kick, and he's got it with strength.
Beautifully read in flight there by Hibbard. And I know what the breeze is doing here. Sorry, Peps. I know what the breeze is doing here, but he really shouldn't miss this.
You would think not. Good kick of the footy. Only about 35 out. Should be able to get some protection from the grandstand. Just hangs this one out to the left-hand goalpost. Shouldn't swing too much.
Not a big goal kicker is Mitch Hibbard, but this would be a really important one on the stroke of half-time to reduce it to within a kick. He's nursed it home, and the margin back to 2 points. Williamstown 4-4-28, leading Collingwood 4-6-30. A much-needed goal for the Seagulls.
And a real goal against the play there, because the Pies have totally dominated this quarter, and that would be their first forward entry for some time in this quarter for Williamstown. So one entry there, one goal.
Approaching half-time at Adcon Stadium, and it's a 22-point lead for the Northern Blues over Port Melbourne. 6-7-43 Northern. Port Melbourne 3-3-21. Later on today, the Cats will take on Sandringham. Earlier today, a 50-point win for the Bombers at Windy Hill over North Melbourne. Umpire to put it down back in the middle. Another poor bounce. That's the third bounce that's skewed to the left from umpire number 17. This one not recalled as the Seagulls against the flow going to attack once more. Mark taken, but potentially too far out to score is Pickus. Behind centre half forward, pokes in toward the pocket. Another chance at a mark, not taken. Ground level, Goldsack over the top of it. Pongrasic there as well. And Josh Pickus, the former Frankston Dolphins, now in Williamstown colours. Umpire throws it up. Rodder does the ruck work. Over running it was Hibbard. Woodward's involved for Collingwood. Distracted. Smith. Downfield umpires paid something.
That was for a throw against Smith.
Yeah. Williamstown to get another shot on goal, and Pongrasic to take it.
Illegal handball there was the signal from the umpire.
That's the second time a downfield umpire has paid a free kick in scoring range in this quarter. Collingwood got one earlier in this term. The goal was kicked by Sam Glover. So a chance for the Seagulls to go back-to-back late in this first half. Another goal puts them back in front, led by 16 at quarter time. Hilly.
Certainly a tougher kick from there.
Pongrasic's ball is sprayed across the face pretty badly and barely snuck in for a point.
Yeah, kicking into the breeze there with the ball swinging left to right from that flank. Certainly a much tougher kick than only moments ago from directly in front.
Margin is a point as we approach half-time here at Victoria Park.
Goldsack to take the kick in once again. Goes long and gets a little bit extra on it with the breeze at his back. Caught behind there was Glover. Did well just to get it to ground, and the tackle laid by Hustwaite on Dorgan. Just ticked over 30 minutes gone in this second term as Brown tracks it, gives it off to Smith, concedes a lot of ground to Appleby, under a lot of pressure here, and Williamstown might have just forced the turnover. They have, but Wheeler taken down. And one does not simply escape a Tyson Goldsack tackle. He is ferocious. And you just saw an example of that, but the kick not so good. Intercepted by Hibbard. He plays on, has a ping, and misses across the face. Just getting out of danger on that occasion, the Pies. It's a tie ball game, 4-6 apiece.
Nice little game brewing here at Victoria Park as Goldsack will bring this in for the Magpies. Looking toward the outer side. The kick's going to easily clear defensive 50. Charleston read it well, took the mark. Seagulls going back in. We're beyond 30 minutes in this second term as Charleston goes deep. Was it marked right on the siren? Umpire puts his arms up. Ball's at the bottom of the pack here, and there will be a shot on goal. So the mark has been paid here for the Seagulls. A very good mark was taken by Myers. And from a very similar spot from where Mitch Hibbert goaled earlier, the Seagulls can go into the halftime break with a lead. Of course they will, even if he misses. One of those any scores will do situations.
Now, kicking from this pocket, the wind may actually be a little bit different. If he hangs this one just inside the right goal post, it should straighten up.
Billy Myers, he went for the left behind post. It swings back in for a point. And it's that point that Williamstown lead Collingwood by at half-time at Victoria Park. 4-7-31 the Seagulls. Collingwood 4-6-30 here on Hard Jacket, Totally Workwear VFL Live.
We'll run through some goal kickers before heading to a break, Adam, and it's all single goal kickers out there for the Seagulls. Hibbard, Marcon, Ebinger and Mundy. And for the Pies, Adams, Glover, Hetherington and Smith have kicked the goals. We'll take a short break and be back to dissect all the action from this first half on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work. Totally Workwear.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. You'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport. Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Welcome back to Victoria Park, where it's Williamstown 4-7-31, leading Collingwood 4-6-30 in what is a must-win clash for the Magpies, sitting at 5-7 in the 2019 season and needing to do all they can to get into that top 8 and perhaps make a run at finals. We know Williamstown sitting pretty in the top 4, but they need to keep winning to make sure their spot is assured in that top 4. And sitting here alongside Glenn Hill. And Hilly, we're just going to go through a few stats before we talk about what's going on around the grounds. And there's been a lot of stoppages in this contest. How has it looked at ground level?
It certainly has been a little bit ugly at times, but when the Pies have been able to open up, we've seen some free-flowing footy from them, and they've been able to break into some spaces, and they've kicked some electrifying goals in that quarter, and certainly dominated that quarter from start, not quite to finish. It was just that last few minutes that Williamstown were able to jag a goal and then get another couple of shots on goal late in the quarter. So the Pies would be disappointed really that they just let that last 5 minutes slip. They got to an 8-point lead, I think it was, but Williamstown had the last 3 scoring shots and actually last 4 scoring shots and go into half time with a 1-point lead.
That's right. It certainly is a contrast of styles, as you mentioned, Hilly. We know the Seagulls like to close down the game and make it a very contested stoppage-based game where they can use Nick Meese to their advantage. But Collingwood, when they're up and about, they like to move it quickly through the corridor, and it sometimes leads to some mistakes, but it's also led to some scintillating footy at times as well.
It certainly has, and I'd say Williamstown have identified that the Pies lineup today contains a lot of speedy units out there. They can really move the footy quick, and so they're going to try and keep the ball in tight, keep it close. And when they've got the breeze, they'll kick long and they'll get down the line, and then they'll be looking to take their opportunities. They'll be looking to hit up marks 30, 40 metres out. Just those, instead of going deep, looking to kick it 55, 60 metres just to get it inside 50, they'll be looking to hit players up 30, 40 out in this upcoming quarter.
And we mentioned the contrast in styles. That contrast perhaps embodied no more by the fact that the Pies have had 80 handballs to Williamstown's 44. They play, their kick to handball ratio, it's totally out of whack in terms of both sides. It totally could not be any more different, really. Collingwood 92 kicks and 80 handballs. Williamstown 85 kicks and just the 44 handballs.
Yeah, so it's quite a different sort of spread there. I'd say the Pies have just shared it. They do like to, when they get around the contest, share from one to the other, and then eventually they get it back to their quarterback player that sits just off the pack. And that might take 3 or 4 handballs to achieve where they want the ball to go, and who to get that footy into the hands of.
Matt Scharenberg has so often been that player for the Magpies this afternoon. Just a couple more team stats to run you through. Collingwood leading the inside 50 count 24-17. They've just been let down by some inaccurate goal kicking, 3-6 in that second term where they really did dominate the play. And Williamstown able to get 1-3 in that second term just to keep themselves in it and actually give themselves the lead at half-time. Another interesting stat, 41 hitouts to 15. Nick Meese is certainly having his way in the ruck over the 23rd man in Riley Smith. As we flick over to the individual players' stats, Liam Hunt had about 10 disposals to quarter time, just the 4 in that second term, but he is still the leading disposal winner on the ground with 14. And the other Seagulls to amass plenty of the ball, Jake Greiser with 13, and also Mitch Hibbard with 9 to go with 6 tackles and 1 goal, 1 as well. And really, the top of the disposal count's actually dominated by Collingwood players. Goldsack and Smith lead the way with 13 apiece. Woodward has 12. We know how much of an accumulator he is. And Josh Dacos with 11, and Tyler Brown and Lockie Tardrew each with 10. So Plenty of disposals for the Pies. Not all of them have led to scores, but we're set for a pretty good second half, Hilly.
Yeah, we certainly are. I felt certainly late in that second quarter the Pies are on top in this game, and probably Williamstown, who had the advantage in that first quarter of the breeze, looked like they got off to a great start. But as you heard from Jared Rivers at quarter time, he's actually quite pleased to only be the 16 points down. He was quite pleased with the tackling effort. He was quite pleased to stay in the contest and not give too much ground in that first quarter. And I just feel the Pies are on top in this contest. If they can get a couple of goals into the breeze in this quarter, they're going to be very hard to hold out.
Well, they certainly need to keep winning, do the Pies, in order to keep their top 8 hopes alive. Hilly, I'll throw you under the bus here before we go to a break. Who are you tipping from here?
We'll say the Pies, and I think it'll be a close one though. They'll win by under 2 goals.
Well, there you go. There's the final word from Glen Hill. We'll take another break and be back with some around the grounds action after this.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
Totally Workwear.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport. Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
A 1-point ball game at Victoria Park here. Round 15 action on Hard Yakka. Totally Workwear. VFL Live, it's the Seagulls 4-7-31 leading Collingwood 4-6-30. Glen Hill, Michael Peppercelli. I'm Adam Sarikoglu. Michael Peppercelli is alongside me as we speak. This is one of 4 games taking place in the VFL today. One is already complete, Michael. Let's have a look at what happens at Windsor Hill. The Bombers remain the team to beat in the VFL on top of the ladder. They are now 11-2, the first team to tick off 11 wins so far this season. They won today by 50 points against North Melbourne at Windsor Hill. Noah Gown kicked 3 goals, Begley and Lazaro 2 each, and then singles for Bagley, Heath Hocking, Houlihan, Dylan Lant and Myers. For the Bombers, a game they pretty much dominated from start to finish. They led by 8 points at quarter time, then kicked clear in the second, and no doubt the Windy was put into Windy Hill. Knowing what the conditions are around Victoria today, Michael, so the Bombers took advantage of that. Lockie Hosey kicked 2 of only 4 goals for North Melbourne for the day. Some of the leading ball getters in that game for the Bombers: 29 for Myers, 25 for Minot, and 21 for the skipper Aaron Heppel. We'll throw in 20 for Kurt Aylett as well. For North Melbourne, Daniel Robinson got 32 touches, and Davies Uniacke of the AFL-listed Kangaroos led the way with 30. 29 for Tom Campbell as a ruckman, 37 hit-outs and a goal as well. That's a very good performance by the big man. It's sort of performance that gets the umpire's attention, and maybe 3 Liston votes coming Tommy Campbell's way, even though North Melbourne did lose the game. The other game taking place right now is running on the same timeline as ours. It's half-time at Adcon Stadium. Northern Blues 7-7-49 leading Port Melbourne 3-4-22. Garlett has 2 goals for the Blues. Singles to Fasolo, Fisher, Kerr, LeBoyce and Palmer. All single goal kickers for the Barakan, Haratuku, Shannon Lang and Tom O'Sullivan. Don't know which one that is. There are, of course, 2 Tom O'Sullivans at Port Melbourne, in a game that's about to kick off. Geelong is hosting Sandringham at GMHBA Stadium, a curtain raiser for the Cats and Saints in the AFL later on this evening, so that one's not too far away from getting underway. Then there's 3 games tomorrow, Michael. Richmond is taking on Werribee, the Tiger Off, as I like to call it, at the Swinburne Centre. That's a very early start, 10 a.m. The first bounce there between the Tigers and the Tigers. Channel 7 game is Footscray and Casey at Marvel Stadium. 11:50 start under the lid at Marvel for the Dogs and the Demons. A pretty important game, that one, for the Demons on the outskirts of the top 8. The Dogs having a very good season here in the VFL. And then the Box Hill Hawks are on their way to Skybus Stadium, where they will play the Dolphins. A 2 o'clock start at Skybus Stadium, and Coburg has the bye. We're not too far away from the second half here at Victoria Park. We'll take one more break before the Seagulls and the Magpies resume hostilities. Right now, it's just a 1-point lead in favour of the Seagulls. Back after this with the third term here on VFL Live.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work. Totally Workwear.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
There you go.
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. To the point.
Suddenly, you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations, plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest
or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes behind.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport. Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Nearing a start to the second half here at Victoria Park with Williamstown 4-7-31. Leading Collingwood 4-6-30 on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live. The last coaches are just making their way off the field and the players have gotten themselves into position. Michael Pipicelli, Adam Sarakoglu and Glenn Hill, your call team for round 15 action. Just about ready to go in quarter number 3. Here's Adam Sarakoglu.
Now, we've had some bouncing issues so far today. Let's see how this second half gets underway. It's darkened up a bit around Victoria Park as well. And I saw it coming, Michael. I saw it coming.
No Nick Meese in the ruck, boys. He looks like he's on a hamstring injury and may not return to play.
So, Harvey's in the ruck here for the C. Wasn't a free kick out of the middle going Collingwood's way. Smith quickly handballs. Adams, though, not sure he wanted it. Taylor Adams goes onto the right foot. No, he doesn't like the left. We go towards half forward, and that's a very good chest mark taken by Glover. He is happy to go on the left. We're inside 50, but in position A was Singh. Takes the relieving mark for the Seagulls.
Hops it over the top to Wheeler, inside defensive 50, kick partially smothered there by Gallucci for Collingwood, and they've affected the turnover. Handball, though, also partially smothered, and out of bounds we go. So Hilly, we're not expecting to see Nick Meese out there for the rest of the game?
At the moment, his hamstring is heavily strapped. I'd say he's done for the day, has his jacket on as well, so I would say he might be done for today.
Well, that could be a big blow to the Seagulls in their efforts to win this game. They've dominated the hit-outs so far this afternoon, and they've been really good around the stoppages as we get a holding the ball free kick to Taylor Adams, takes it immediately and sets it up to the square. Wilson, the target, had the front position, couldn't bring it down. Woodward gives off the handball. They need someone to get boot to ball. That man is Dacos, and the result is still in play. Well done there by Greiser on the last line of defence for Williamstown, and he gives it off to Andrews, and Williamstown away.
Sun's definitely gone. Hilly much darker out there, body on body between Adams and Greiser, holding the ball, and a free kick going Taylor Adams' way. Runs into the corridor. It does go on the left this time. Awkward ball inside 50 toward the hot spot. No mark taken. Tippett's going to run away with this for the Seagulls. Kick toward the outer side. Myers in position 8. Takes it in front of Hetherington. On the Turner Street side of the grounds here at Victoria Park, as we see the right football into attack here for the Seagulls. Donnell just caught behind that time, and in the right spot was Riley Smith. Takes the relieving mark for Collingwood. He goes short. Brown. No 15, or was there? I heard someone yell out something. It might not have been an umpire though. Brown. And he goes with the short option as well. This is Scharenberg, who sends the ball toward the outer side. A lot of congestion around this one. No mark was taken. Smith has it once more. Broomhead. And pass did come out. Adams a little kick in. Board's had a fair bit of it already in this second half. Wheeler gets put into the deck. pretty strong tackle by Tyson Goldsack. You let him know about it as well. Ball up inside 50 here for the Magpies.
We might need the lights on here soon. It's really gloomy.
Yeah, it's could be. I'll check the radar as well, Hilly. I don't know if there's any rain coming.
Takes us back to the Swinburne Centre a few weeks ago, Hilly, where we were in very much the same situation.
And Sandra.
I don't think you'll need the radar at the moment. The rain is certainly coming. It's just starting to drop at the moment.
Well, it held off for the first half, but this second half could be played in the rain as we get another stoppage. Williamstown content to lock it inside forward 50. The rain is starting to come down, in fact.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy in Laverton.
You can see it on your screen if you're watching us on VFL.com.au as the Pies still want to use it by hand in these conditions. Adams takes a daring bounce. It came back to him, but he couldn't handle it. Had time to gather, though, and the Pies through Lane, but his chip over the top. He and Dacos were not on the same page. And the mark taken by Norton for Williamstown, who's happy to concede ground for Tippett. Second oldest player out there this afternoon for Williamstown as he pops it over the top to Singh, who played on, slipped, but able to get rid of it to Masters, and Williamstown just working it out carefully. Marcon has it, eventually goes with the long ball. Smith had a big piece of it for Collingwood, couldn't bring it in. That's Riley Smith. And the Seagulls have it at ground level. Hibbard was strong in the tackle, got a handball away, but Collingwood affects the turnover. Lane once again to Sharonberg, playing that quarterback role as Hilly mentioned at half-time. Gives it off to Wills, and now Tyler Brown. He can take on a couple of Seagulls, pop it over the top to Wilson, wants to give it off by hand, eventually goes by foot, and the vision was spectacular. The mark taken by Glover for Collingwood.
Hilly, have you found cover?
Have found cover. I was just about to mention that with this, it's a 50 metre penalty. Wow, there you go. I was just about to mention that the wind has just dropped significantly since the rain has come, thinking that the Pies might have been able to kick the distance from just inside 50.
Completely different conditions from what we had in the first half.
And as the fans flock to the grandstand, Glover slams it through for a goal for the Pies. The first of the third half, they have the lead back. 5-6-36 to 4-7-31.
That's two gift goals now for Sam Glover. Had one in the second term. That was a downfield free kick. And the shot on goal from point blank range. So
second half, third quarter, of course, Adam. Get my numbers mixed up sometimes.
Had to retreat to the grandstand. It's just got a bit heavy.
Hilly's had enough.
Are you in the race, Hilly? The old race?
No, I found my way up to the back of the grandstand to get some shelter.
One man who is not fussed by the conditions is Andy Collins. He's standing tall on the Williamstown bench. Does have a beanie on though as the umpire calls for another stoppage out of the middle. Still inside the centre square. A sunny, windy first half now greeting Victoria Park is a pretty heavy rainstorm as Wheeler does get his clearance. Pongracic the target. Charleston ripped off the ball with Zebinger. Another good Tyson Goldsack tackle results in a Collingwood ball, and Goldsack will claim the free kick as he goes looking for Woodward. Plenty of blue and gold though. Tippett chops it off. Left football high towards half forward once more. Ebinger pushed out of it. Rodder hasn't really got near it today. Nick Rodder. Chance for the Pies to clear, but they're under pressure. Tardrew ball just popped up away from him. Well claimed in the end, and Broomhead receives it from Smith, the two lookalikes, and Broomhead has it inside defensive 50 for Collingwood. They're looking for Riley Smith, who's had an okay game. He doesn't have Nick Meese to worry about out on the ground at the moment. Tippett gets it back for the Seagulls. Hand pass comes further back. Singh to the middle of the ground. Good kick. Mark taken by Duggan. Masters had to kick away before Chippendale got him. Inside 50 for Rodder. Needs to have an impact now. Takes the chest mark. And in the first half, at least, Hilly, this would have been a gimme with what the wind was doing.
Certainly, but it really does feel like it's dropped. quite a way. It's not the breeze it was in the first half here. So, if anything, I'd say this is a straighter kick. And Nick Rod is a really good kicker of the football. So, imagine if he just guides this one through, aiming probably at the right goalpost. Should be able to just guide this one through from directly in front.
So to restore the lead for the Seagulls, we've seen a lot of balls toward that end of the ground, the Studley Park end of the ground, spray to the left.
Just about a helicopter kick on that occasion.
Yeah, you're right. So a minor score. And it's a 4-point game here in favour of the Pies as Goldsack again comes toward this near side. Trying to wait for it at the back was Atavi. Then wrapped up Riley Smith, his direct opponent, as the umpire crosses his arms.
He's been well contained today, has Nick Rodder. Hasn't been his best game as we get a ball up immediately, taken by Hunt, leading disposal winner in the first half. He's kicking up and under. Goldsack might have thrown that. Umpire said no, and ball ends up over the line anyway.
It was basketball. He seemed to palm it, so it'd be a travel. So
that's right. 9 minutes into this third term. 4-point lead to the Magpies. Adams, clean when no one else was. In fact, that's Hustwaite. Got boot to ball. It rolls towards centre wing. Tippett had a fumble initially. Tries to get around a couple of Pies. Couldn't quite do so. Crowd wanted ball. They get a boundary throw in instead. The rain really coming down here at Victoria Park, and only the bravest of souls still out in the open. As the ball's tossed back in, falls short in the breeze. Adams dragged off it. Still going is Taylor Adams. And we'll get a ball up. 5-6 plays 4-8. Round 15 action. Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live as Hunt sees a ball over the line. 15 disposals for Liam Hunt this afternoon. Equal leading disposal winner with Tyson Goldsack, who has 15 of his own for Collingwood. Matt Smith not far behind them with 14 as we get the boundary throw in. Both ruckmen manhandling each other. No free kick paid. Ball ricocheting around. Eventually it comes out to Greiser, who puts Hunt into a little bit of space. Needs to be quick with the kick, and he is. He's a target stumbled though in Ebinger. Lots of numbers around it. Tyler Brown will take it over. Wet weather footy it has become here at Victoria Park. It's going to be a slog in this final quarter and a half. I get the feeling Andy Collins and Williamstown wouldn't have it any other way. The Pies will be the ones who need to adjust the most as Woodward put his head over it and wins himself a free kick for a high tackle.
According to the radar, this is only a passing shower. We might get one more later on, a smaller rain band coming across Melbourne. So this is probably the worst we're going to get as far as rain today as the ball slips out of play. Boundary throw in. Right on centre wing here at Victoria Park, around the ground. It's a 21-point lead for the Northern Blues over Port Melbourne. That game running about 3 minutes behind ours. Umpire brings this in 11.5 minutes into the third term as the wind looks like it's picking up as well. Marcon missed his kick. Wills does get a kick away, holds up a fair bit in the breeze though. Off the ground goes Masters, didn't get good purchase. Wills got in the way for Collingwood. Hard ball to win right now. Marcon pressured by Woodward. Adams winning hard for Collingwood. Wills overruns it. Woodward again. Ball pops up to the last moment. Hunt's kick, clearing ball, just clean bowls Ebinger. Foot race for it out the back. Scharenberg leading it. Can't pick up the first time, did second time. Rushed over the line. Rodder put the body on Scharenberg and a boundary throw in the result. The interchange steward with the sign up Hilly is still braving the elements here. Those arms are going to be absolutely aching tomorrow, let me tell you.
Not to mention the frostbite on his fingers.
Get that man a pair of gloves. So ground level ball here, and this eventually cleared out last moment. It's a very high ball from Thomas. Takes a bounce, goes over the line, boundary throw in. Josh Dacos waits to come back out onto the ground, and Gallucci will make way for him. Right on centre wing. That board must have very important information on it, as those arms have been up a long time today. That Collingwood interchange, Stuart. Hunt has had an impact in his third term, ripped off it potentially without the ball. Markon swung as he kicked, it didn't go 15. Smith's had it go through his legs. Hibbard, he's wrapped up by Hetherington, gets his hand pass out. Myers, happy to see it out of play. Boundary throw in.
Alternatively, Adam, he might have just missed arm day at the gym and thought it was a good time to get a workout in.
It's hurting me just watching him do this.
Certainly not something I'd be signing up to do, especially in these conditions as the ball spins back in. Rodder in the ruck. Might have gotten first hand to it. Markon gathers and just kicks blindly towards half forward. Scharenberg at the back. Kick touched over the boundary line by Ebinger. As we tick into 14 minutes gone in quarter number 3. 5-6, 36 the Pies. The Seagulls 4-8, 32. Smith decisively to Adams, set upon immediately, still got his handball away, and now Collingwood a chance to clear. Glover leading the race for this one, thumped away from him by Masters, and Markon had a fumble. Boundary line might be what he wants. The Williamstown skipper, and eventually he gets it. Collingwood gunning for 4 straight wins. The Seagulls looking to keep a stranglehold on their top 4 position and perhaps keep their top 2 hopes alive as Smith tried to clear for Collingwood. Wills burrowing in there as well. Charging through was Woodward, and Wills goes again. Gets the kick away, but only as far as Singh for Williamstown. Glover did really well. Needs to keep his feet. Handball to Wilson was good enough. Left foot ball is going to bounce in the goal square. How is it? It's wide and bounces through for a minor score. Chippendale couldn't keep it in the field of play. First score for quite some time here at Victoria Park. That extends the Magpies' lead to 5 points.
And a rare score at the railway end of the ground as Dorgan sends the ball out toward the outer wing. Appleby did get a hand on it for Collingwood. Now Goldsack having a good day today, Tyson Goldsack. Hetherington had to retreat. Pies trying to find some space, and they do out the back, and finally a ball sent towards half forward as Broomhead is beaten to the ball, this time by Dorgan. Takes a good relieving mark for the Seagulls at half back. The kick to centre half forward over the head of Madgen. Scharenberg pushed off his kick. Ball's up for grabs, picked up by Hibbard. Little left foot running onto it, Ebinger. It might skid all the way though. Just kept on bouncing, went wayward in the end. So the Seagulls do go coast to coast, but the result is only a behind. 4-9-33, Collingwood 5-7-37, 16 gone in the third term as we wait for Goldsack to retrieve the ball and bring it back into play. Up to 17 touches after this kick. Tyson Goldsack
is a thumping kick of the footy, and he shows it on that occasion. Smith, good mark in the conditions. No, not paid. Adams at ground level, slipped as he kicked, only as far as Dorgan, and it's going to come straight back in for Williamstown. Off hands at the back, Donnell looming dangerously. The Collingwood defence does well to hold up, and they might get themselves a stoppage as Goldsack looks a little bit proppy after that contest. Staying out there though. We know he is tough as nails, the Collingwood veteran. 2010 Premiership player. As we get a stoppage at the top of the goal square for Williamstown. And a high free kick's been found in amongst all that. Which way is it going? It's a Williamstown free. So a big chance here for the Seagulls to take back the lead. And it's going to be a shot at goal from point blank range here for Adam Markon.
Jack Madgen's just limped off there, Hilly.
It's just hobbling at the moment. Might have received a bit of a corky just in a previous incident.
Kicked a goal in the opening terms in Markon, and that makes it 2 for him. And the Seagulls back in front, 5-9-39 to 5-7-37. 18 minutes gone in this third term. The Seagulls lead it by a couple.
They are underway at GMHBA Stadium. No score yet between the Cats and the Zebras in the other game that's live. A 20-point lead for the Northern Blues, a game that's equally as low scoring as this one, 49-29 in favour of the Blues at Port Melbourne. So this one's a seesawing affair, and the Williamstown Seagulls lead by 2 points. 10 goals, 16 combined today. And the bouncing's done for today as well. Should be for good. But at least for today in the wet, we won't see any more bouncing from the umpires as Hibberd is put into the deck by Wills. Good tackle. Umpire letting it go. Another tackle here by Thomas, and now the umpire crosses his arms. Marcon gives it back to the man in green. We've got a blood rule. Looks like Riley Smith has to come off. Blood nose, it looks like. So Collingwood has a ruck issue here. He's the only recognised ruckman out there today for the Magpies, so he comes off. Replaced by Michael Chippendale, who has Collingwood put into the ruck here. Rupert Wills is a tall that's in there at the moment. Chippendale's coming in for the stoppage as well.
Might be Chippendale in the ruck. It is.
It won't be Alex Woodward, I know that. Chippendale comes in. Rodder is his opponent. Nick Mee's not out there at the moment either. For the Seagulls, Wheeler kicks smothered off the boot. Martin leaves it behind. It's pinballing around in the centre circle at the moment. Smith is pile driven by a Marcon, and a ball up still inside the circles as Rupert Wills and Marcon say hello. So we have no recognised ruckman for either side out there at the moment. Umpire downfield spotted something. It will clear the congestion. No idea what the free kick's for, but Marcon will claim it.
Looked like it was against Smith. Didn't quite see why as Marcon sends it into attack. It was off the ball. Front and square for Williamstown, but Collingwood defender right on his heels, and he won't progress with the footy anymore. Ball up around 40 out from the Seagulls goal. They lead it by 2 points. 5-9 plays 5-7. No one went up for that contest, and perhaps because there was a block against Rodder in the ruck. It'll be Chippendale's free. As Adams fanning out to the broadcast side, and that's where he goes. And you heard Hilly say they are away. Wills over the top. The next link in the chain, and now a chance for Wilson. The Seagulls have gotten back though, Tippett as the spare, so the long high ball won't help in this situation. Called to move on now is Wilson. He just sets it up and hopes for the best. Rodder back. Doing well to make a contest was Glover. Boston-Avalagi at ground level, tracking it. So too Broomhead. But the umpire calls for it. No prior opportunity.
First blood to the Cats against the Zebras around the grounds. Oscar Browlis, the goal kicker for Geelong, 1 straight 6. Sandringham yet to score at GMHBA Stadium.
Big scoring opportunity here for the Magpies as Marcon's taken down. No one able to get a clean grasp of the footy as you would expect with the conditions. Umpire calling play on, but eventually he'll have to intervene, which he does now.
Bombers won by 50 earlier today. Blues by 20. Approaching time on in the third term at Adcon Stadium.
The Pies have really struggled against Williamstown over the years. Only won 3 of the 19 matchups between these two sides. So history not on their side this afternoon as we got, again, once a number of players around the footy. Rodder was in there, so too Tyler Brown, and Marcon is always in a scrap. We get another stoppage. Marcon got boots a ball, but it didn't go anywhere. Hibberd did likewise, but eventually the ball does spill free. It takes a Collingwood bounce though. Woodward had to be quick with the hands and was. It's gathered by Appleby. He doesn't kick too many goals. Won't do so here either. At the back, Wilson, off hands, goal! Back in front at Victoria Park, and don't these fans love it?
They certainly do, and they're in the terraces, staying out of the rain, although it looks like it's easing a little bit at the moment. But there's plenty of Pies fans in here, and they're being looked after too. There's been plenty of highlights from the Pies.
6th time today that the lead has changed here at Victoria Park. Last time we got back-to-back goals was for Collingwood in the second term. That's when the breeze was a bit more prevalent toward the Bath Street end of the grounds. We're back in the middle here. Umpire throws it up. Rodders in the ruck against Chippendale. Ground level ball. Hunts did want to extract it for Williamstown. Then the tap further on. Masters had to go back and fetch. Broomhead brought him down. Pies eventually win it. Here's Thomas, the little chipper. Now Glover. Left foot's on the way. Pies for 2 minutes, but he hits the post. They're lifting Collingwood at the moment. It's a minor score. Their kick in quickly taken.
Martin has it for Williamstown inside defensive 50. He goes wide. 2 goals, 1 now for Sam Glover. He's been a live wire up forward for the Pies. Appleby keeps this in, gives it off to Tardrew in the fluoro wheels, and now Chippendale goes again, sends it wide, 2 wide in fact. And it'll be Dorgan's free kick at right half back. In front of the manual scoreboard here at Victoria Park, which shows Collingwood 6-8-44, leading Williamstown 5-9-39 as that kick goes long up the line, off hands over the boundary line.
I just went on TV. I got on that.
2 goals, 2 in this quarter for the Magpies, and 1 goal, 2 for the Seagulls. So Collingwood making a good fist of things in this quarter. But as Hilly said earlier, the breeze might have just died down a bit, so the left of screen not so much favoured anymore, which will really open things up for the remaining quarter and change of this contest. Almost 25 gone as Tardrew gathers, gets a handball away. Collingwood trying to clear, but it's going to come back. A good mark taken. No, not paid on the second bite. I think that was Masters who flew, and we'll get a stoppage just short of centre wing on the outer side. Collingwood by 5 points. Need a win, do the Pies, to stay in top 8 contention as Appleby thumps it away, but only as far as Pickus, who just slaps it forward inside defensive 50. Collingwood should have this covered, and they do. Scharenberg to Tardrew. Kick partially smothered off hands, and Will's happy to see it over. So a boundary throw in, 25.5 minutes gone. Just outside forward 50 for the Seagulls. They trail it by 5.
So Collingwood have 3. They had 3 players ready to come on. Riley Smith was one of them, Taylor Adams and Tyson Goldsack, but because the play's on the outer side, no chance to get those interchanges in. A lot of stoppages at the moment. The our man on the Collingwood bench, his arm's getting a bit of a break, and he holds up the sign once more.
I want to be on the radio.
He's wasting his time because everyone's looking the wrong way. Soccer trying to set something up by Rodder. Umpire crosses his arms once more. This is a real dull spot in this game at the moment, but it is close here at Victoria Park. 5-point ball game, not too far away from 3-quarter time. High contact, and the Seagulls will get a free kick in scoring range. It's going to be taken by Willie Wheeler. And here's a chance to get the lead back for Williamstown. Have we had a power outage in the box here, potentially, Michael?
We might have.
Lights just go out there. Not sure what's going on here in the commentary box at the moment. It's one of those days at Victoria Park. So Willie Wheeler has 8 goals for his season, right foot ball. Hit it very high off the shin almost and missed to the near side. Haven't seen too many miss on that side of the sticks today, so a minor score for the Seagulls. 5-10-40 playing 6-8-44.
Scharenberg wants to go, and that's exactly what he does. Sends it long looking for Glover. He's been a good target for the Pies this afternoon. Had a piece of that one, but couldn't haul it in. Williamstown now working it forward by hand. Big tackle laid by Wills on Pongrassic. No free kick coming though. Out of bounds it goes. 6-8 plays 5-10. Round 15 action. Hard Yakka, Totally Workwear VFL Live. We hope you're enjoying the coverage, whether you're watching on VFL.com.au or listening via SEN2. Glad to have your company as that kick partially smothered, and Smith happy to see it over for the Pies once again.
It's like Madgen's ready to come back on as well for Collingwood. You reckon it was a corky, Gilly?
Yeah, I think it was just a corky. He just copped a lot of contact in one contest and came up a bit sore, but he's fresh now, ready to get back out.
By the way, Adams and Goldsack still can't get on the ground together.
Adams been standing there for a good 5 or 6 minutes as we get the ball thrown back in. Masters' kick off the side of the boot might work out okay though. Dorgan dispossessed in the tackle. In there is Hustwaite for Collingwood, and plenty of numbers in there for the Seagulls also, and that's where we'll get a stoppage.
Tyson Goldsack's had enough. He's put on the jacket.
Just
too cold waiting to get on the ground, Michael.
Just outside forward 50. Eventually the ball is cleared by Brown, and that's a good mark taken in front by Glover. And he just pokes it laterally for Lane. And now his kick towards half forward might have been a push in the back to Chippendale. Umpire said play on. Bosanavalagi over the top of it here. And the umpire will call for it. Attacking position for Collingwood as the rain's just eased up a bit. In fact, it might have stopped altogether. As the ball's thrown up. Good work there by Lane to get boots of ball. Inside forward 50. Bosanavalagi went to ground. His opponent didn't, and a chance now for the Seagulls to clear. Kick into the middle of the ground is dangerous. Ebinger needs to be good. So too does Keane, who came up to meet it, but he overran it. A chance for Ebinger. Has a man streaming towards a goal square. He just can't get it to him though. And Appleby takes it over for Collingwood in front of Pongrassic.
So the Seagulls can snatch the lead late in the third term here with a goal. Just scooch over to your left enough there, Michael. You might be able to tell us how long's left in this quarter. Umpire to throw it in. Left full pocket as Rodder. Now Hibbert. Body on body, heavy. Donnell out the back, dribbling ball. Had a number of bodies to get it through though. And that's the one of former 19 from Hawthorn hates. It's a minor score. Rush behind in the end, and Scharenberg to bring it in. 5-11 now. The Seagulls, Collingwood 6-8-44. We're beyond 30 in the third term. That's it. Just as Scharenberg brought it back into play, a very scrappy third term, but we have got a game in our hands. Now Victoria Park, 3-quarter time, and it's Collingwood 6-8-44, leading Williamstown 5-11-41.
We'll run through some goal kickers before going to a break, Adam. And for Collingwood, Sam Glover is the multiple goal kicker. He has 2, and singles to Taylor Adams, Tom Wilson, Sean Hetherington and Matthew Smith. And for the Seagulls, Adam Marcon, the skipper, leads the way with a couple, and then singles to Mitch Hibbard, Nick Ebinger and also Tom Mundy. So at 3-quarter time here at Victoria Park, it's Collingwood 6-8-44, leading Williamstown 5-11-41. And as the sun comes out once again at Victoria Park, we'll go to a break.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
Totally Workwear. Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coach's huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport. Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Welcome back to Victoria Park, where it's Collingwood 6-8-44, leading Williamstown 5-11-41. 2 goals to 1 in that third term for the Pies, and that sees them out by just the 3 points. We're set for a thrilling conclusion to this round 15 contest on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live. Adam, plenty of players out there racking up big numbers. Who's leading the way?
Tyson Goldsack now up to 17 touches for the day, 13 kicks, 4 handballs, a mark and 5 tackles. Taylor Adams has 16. Lockie Tardrew is the leading ball getter from the VFL list for Collingwood with 16 as well. Alex Woodward has 15. 10 of those are handballs. Tyler Brown 14. Matt Smith 14. On the Williamstown side of things, it's Liam Hunt who is the leading ball getter on the ground now with 22. Jake Greiser has 15. Jack Dorgan and Mitch Hibbert both have 14. For the Seagulls, as we go to a couple of the team stats, inside 50s plus 6, the Pies 33-27. The hit-out count is being dominated by the Seagulls after Nick Meese had a very good first term, 54-31. The tackle count is plus 13 for Collingwood as the Magpies huddle now breaks up. Jared Rivers has entered his three-quarter time rev up. Andy Collins still holding a tight huddle for the Seagulls. I'm trying to spot our man Glenn Hill. Not sure where Hilly is, or if Hilly, you're around. No, can't see Hilly at the moment, so don't know if we're going to get Andy Collins out of the huddle, Michael.
No, not today, boys. He's really intense at the moment with his group, so we'll let him just get to the bench and we'll get this final quarter underway.
Still has them in tight, does Andy Collins. He was late sending them out at the start of the game and late sending them out at quarter time too and half time as well, but eventually that huddle does disband. I'm sure certainly had an interesting message for his troops at three-quarter time. We'll just go around the grounds, Adam, before we get to this final term. The Borough have narrowed the lead somewhat over at Adcon Stadium, trailing the Northern Blues by 16 points at three-quarter time, so set for a grandstand finish there. And over at GMHBA Stadium, it's Geelong 2-2-14, leading the Zebras 2 straight 12. Brownless and Fort, your goal kickers for the Cats, and Michael Batten and Anthony Seaton are the 2 goal kickers for the Zebras as we get ready to go in this final term.
So big finish coming up. It's Collingwood leading by 3 points. Sun's out again. One of those 4 seasons in one day kind of situations here at Victoria Park today. Next week on VFL Live, I believe Al Hefe's back, Michael.
He is.
And we are going to be at Box Hill City Oval. Al Hefe going to be very busy with Roger and Novak at Wimbledon tomorrow night our time. Umpire throws it up. Final term is underway. Markon got a little sock up, but it's marked by Gallucci. Inside the centre square here for Collingwood as Gallucci goes into attack. Sun beaming down. Fist there from Masters. Maybe a chance for Hustwaite. He does pick up. Right foot snap. This would be the perfect start for Collingwood. It took a bounce and slammed into the post. 4 point lead for the Pies. 6-9-45. Williamstown 5-11. 41.
The Sun coming back out will suit that quick Collingwood ball movement, and you saw how dangerous it can be on that occasion as Dorgan sends it wide for Donnell. Haven't called his name too often this afternoon, Sam Donnell, especially since quarter time. He's come a long way up the ground to get a touch of the ball, and he pokes it over the top to a teammate, and Charleston just wants to send it high and long, but Scharenberg there in the road for Collingwood, as he has been on so many occasions this afternoon. Goes to Broomhead in a one-on-one with Greiser at right half forward. Greiser does well to gather, needs to get a handball away and does. Wills fumbled initially, then went on the second go and won it, but turns it over with the handball, and now a chance for the Seagulls. Keane playing in front of Rodder. Good assertive position and able to win the footy on that occasion. Still going is Keane. Needs to go back in and win it and does. Good hands to Dacos and maybe a push in the back against Broomhead, and it is. Or was it Smith? It's one of them. I can't tell you which one. And it's going to be a Williamstown free kick at left half back.
So Wheeler sends this one toward the middle of Victoria Park. Donnell the target. Riley Smith gathered but tackled straight away. Now Dorgan gets the release handball out. Seagulls into attack, only temporarily. A good mark taken by Scharenberg, who was a little slow to get up after being dealt with by Mundy. Kick toward this broadcast side of the ground. Pickus in position 8. Handball off. Atavi missed it. Now chance for Thomas. Atavi with the pressure. Tardrew. Ball pinballs up. Now it's in the hands of Masters. He clears away for Williamstown, and Mundy just dropped the mark at the last moment. Had to bend down to try and take it. Fell short. Now a high contact free kick going the Seagulls' way on this broadcast wing, just behind true centre wing, and Pickus will be the man to take it.
Has it between half-back and wing. Wants to bite off the inboard kick for Singh. It's dangerous. Doing well to come across and affect the spoil was Hustwaite. Now Woodward burrowing in. Tries to get it to Broomhead. Couldn't do so. And the Seagulls get a quick kick away. But Goldsack the only man home. And he takes the mark at centre half back. Spots a man fanning to the outer side. That's Chippendale. Gets it to him. And now towards half forward, where the ball is taken over the boundary line in front of Wilson. 6-9-45 plays 5-11-41 into this final term. As the ball's tossed back in, Atavi doing the ruck work in the absence of Nick Meese. Haven't seen him since half time. He's got that hammy heavily strapped, and we won't see him for the rest of the afternoon as the ball is inside forward 50 for the Pies in a dangerous spot. Can they get a shot at goal? They can't. The ball's still in play, eventually taken over. And we get a boundary throw in. About 4 minutes into this final term. 4 point lead for the Magpies. A win keeps their finals hopes alive, while the Seagulls need to win to solidify their position in the top 4. And they clear defensive 50 here. One-on-one, Tardrew might have been held against Wheeler. Umpire said no, and we'll get a ball up instead.
I think there was a hold either way there, both jumpers being tugged.
So in those situations, the umpires usually just call play on. Probably the right decision in that situation, as Riley Smith and Atavi prepare to do battle once again. Marcon couldn't quite gather it cleanly, and now plenty of numbers around it. Smith puts his opponent into the turf, and we'll get another stoppage, 55 out from the Collingwood goal.
Little niggle between Scharenberg and Mundy, still behind play. It's about 50 metres away from where this stoppage has occurred. Umpire throws it up. Beaming sunshine after a very dark and gloomy third term. Did say that on the radar, Michael. I read the radar well and said that it was only a fleeting rainstorm and we're back to the sunshine. Call me Jane Bunn as the ball goes out of play. Boundary throw in. Kick came down the line and took a bounce, went out of play near the Collingwood bench. So they're on centre wing. In fact, a bit more forward than that. I thought the ball went out of play in a much more central area. Umpire to throw it in. Nick Meese out of the game since half time. It's Atavi in the ruck at the moment for the Seagulls. Hunt over it. Ball popped up. Hustwaite gets it back for Collingwood. Interesting handball there for Smith. Hunt in the right spot. Now Wheeler standing start towards half forward. Madgen beats Mundy in the air. Gets it back for Collingwood. Very high ball and it stayed in the air a long time. Finally it came down at the full. Glover slipping over Masters. Gave Glover some space. One-on-one at the top of the square here. It was Wilson against Tippett. It goes out the back and over the line for a boundary throw in next to the behind post. Things are tightening up at Adcon Stadium. 15-point lead for the Northern Blues over Port Melbourne. That game will probably still be in progress when the final siren goes here. Umpire brings it in. 3-point lead for the Cats around the grounds as well in the game. That's approaching quarter time. Free kick, holding the ball. Chance at goal for Collingwood. And they can extend their lead out beyond a kick. And the shot is going to be taken as a Wilson, Michael?
I believe so.
Tom Wilson, the former basketballer. 45-degree angle, will kick from about 40. Chance to extend the lead beyond a goal for the first time today for Collingwood. Right foot ball's on the way, hits the post. Goal umpire was working to their left as soon as it hit the boot, and it's another minor score. Kicking's been woeful both ways today. Collingwood 6-10-46, 5-point lead over Williamstown, 5-11-41. I think we've lost our game clock.
We have as Greiser takes the kicking.
7 minutes in.
Looking for Rodder, big pack, and the mark taken by Atavi, standing tall when the Seagulls need him to. No one mans the mark, so he plays on. Sends it towards half forward. Goldsack had the height advantage, got a fist to it. Hibbard tracking it for the Seagulls, gives it off to Pongrasic. Got around one tackler, but not the second. Holding the ball. Great work by Matt Smith. Mainstay of this Collingwood lineup has had another good game this afternoon, having a good season. His kick off the hands of Boston Avalagi stays in momentarily, but eventually trickles over the boundary line. 8 minutes into this final term. Collingwood 6-10-46, leading Williamstown 5-11-41. Set for a grandstand finish here on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live. We had a great final term last week, Adam, between the Hawks and the Cats, and we might just be set for another one here as the ball is worked over the boundary line by the Williamstown defence. About 65 around from the Collingwood goal.
Those Cats, by the way, up by 4 points at quarter time over Sandringham.
Williamstown clear. Goldsack there. Couldn't haul it in, but did well to create a contest. Woodward shovels it back to Keane, who got around one opponent nicely, but almost turned it over with the kick. Thomas read it well front and square. Couldn't handle it cleanly, though. And now Greiser at half-back sends it towards the broadcast side. We've got numbers coming out this way, but the Collingwood defence wise to it, and Martin beaten to the ball by the boundary line, and Tardrew was there with him for company as well. So even if he did win it, he probably wasn't going to be able to do anything with it. So Josh Thomas makes his way off the ground for a rest. Dacos from the congestion, taken down strongly by Martin. No free kick for holding the ball. Hibbert ends up with it, but the bounce was cruel for Ebinger, and Goldsack there to mop up. Keane gives it off now to Lane, and he just pops it out wide, hoping for the best here with Hetherington against a couple of Seagulls. Does well to lay the tackle and halve the contest. We'll get a ball up.
Next goal vital here at Victoria Park. Margin is 5 points in favour of the Magpies. 10 minutes gone in the final term. Third term was drenched by a pretty heavy rainstorm. It got quite dark here. Now the sun's back out. It's been windy for a lot of the day, as well as Glenn Hill has told us boundary side as goes out of bounds on the full here, and a free kick to be taken by the Seagulls on the outer side, and shooting his eyes from the sun is Jack Charleston. Hilly, we've got you at the moment?
Certainly have, boys.
I'll ask you a question in a moment as Charleston's kick toward half forward works out. Mark taken by Ebinger. Ebinger goes around onto the right foot. Seagulls into attack. The target was Atavi. Went up, didn't bring it down. Hard ball to win here. Hibbert with the tackle. Ball up. Hilly, what's the wind doing with 20 minutes or so left in this one?
It's certainly still an advantage to be left of screen. Pies are kicking with that advantage, but it's not what it was earlier. It was obviously about a 5 or 6 goal breeze earlier. That's dropped right down. May only be a 2-goal advantage at the moment.
Seagulls would love a goal from this entry. Another ball up. Wrapped up in the tackle was Ebinger. Has to give it back to the umpire. Atavi to do battle with Riley Smith. Atavi won it down, not to advantage though. Umpire crosses his arms once more. We're at the top of the goal square here. Seagulls down by 5. Looking to earn their 9th win of the season. Umpire throws it up in the air once more. Ebinger overran at that time. Ball was cleared away, but it's still inside defensive 50 for Collingwood. Broomhead pressured by Martin. Somehow it ends up with Hustwaite. They are out of danger, Collingwood. Hand pass out wide. This is Hetherington. Had nothing to go to. Hand passes back to Broomhead. Now kicks back in board. Tardrew couldn't take the mark under pressure here. Collingwood still have a tackle from Andrews. Umpire crosses his arms. About 60 out from goal for the Seagulls.
Curious decision there from Broomhead to go back and inboard, but didn't have anything he liked up the line.
Probably just a poor decision on that occasion.
Clearance goes the way of Williamstown, and into attack they go once again. Goldsack with the fist. Got it about 25 metres forward. Woodward did well with the quick hands. And out of bounds it goes in front of Hetherington.
How many for Hetherington now, Pep?
It's a good question, Hilly. We'll get onto that and let you know. Adam's
13.
Feverishly working on it.
13, Hilly.
Okay. Just feels like he's had a bit more impact than those numbers tell the story.
Kicked a goal in the second term, did Sean Hetherington, as the ball is back in play now. Good tackle laid by Smith. Just inside forward 50 for the Seagulls. The Pies need to hold on here, looking for their 6th win of the season. Seagulls looking for their 9th as Donnell around 1 from 50, pokes it towards a goal square. Atavi looming large, and it's rushed over for a minor score. Goldsack getting back and running into the fence for his troubles. Margin now back to 4 points.
Tyson Goldsack, the first Magpie to reach 20 disposals with this kick in. He goes toward the broadcast side. That number is probably skewed by the fact that Williamstown have been so inaccurate. And Tyson Goldsack's taken a large majority of the kick-ins as we see it ball up. 65 out from Williamstown's goal. 4-point ball game approaching the halfway mark of the final term. Ball thrown up with Rodder to take on Smith in the ruck. Rodder smothered off the boot there by Lane. Picked up by Wills. Needs a handball option. Ball just cleared away by Madgen. Didn't really penetrate though. Martin on all fours. Brought down by a couple of Magpies. Tyler Brown, one of them. Secondary tackle by Hibbard. Holds things up at the top of 50 for Williamstown. Big finish coming up here. Williamstown can't break into the top 2 tonight. Started the day 6 points back. from both Richmond and Essendon. Then the Bombers got a win earlier today. Tigers take on Werribee tomorrow. Wheeler from 50, kick toward the hot spot. But the relieving mark is taken by Flynn Appleby. Wants to come toward this broadcast side of the ground. 2-on-2 here, over the head of Rodder and Smith. Out the back, it's come to Donnell under pressure. Kick almost turns it over to Broomhead. Besenavalagi got 3 Seagulls to deal with, brought down and threw it out. Free kick to Williamstown.
It's a classy pickup though in the conditions by Besenavalagi. Just didn't have anywhere to go once he won it, but it'll be a tippet free kick for Williamstown. Inside forward 50, big pack. No one able to bring it down. And we'll get a stoppage. Mark on, driven into the turf by Tyler Brown on that occasion. 40 out from the Seagulls' goal. Goes without saying, but the next goal in this one, highly important as it's become a real dour contest as Charleston gathers, sends it long to the square. Atavi has the height, but Scharenberg has the fist. And it's through for a minor score once again. Margin now back to 3 points as Goldsack kicks it in.
It's a long ball. All the way to the square. Half jump at it there by Glover. Didn't get near it to take the mark though. Besenavalagi has given away another free kick according to the umpire. Maybe it wasn't him. It's going to be a Seagull ball either way to be taken by Hunt.
25 touches for Hunt.
Matches the number on his back. He goes inside 50. Goldsack affected the contest. Ball bounced up in the air. Ground might be just a bit more solid underfoot than what we think with the conditions. Collingwood are going to be out of danger here. Game's just opened up a bit late here.
There, a bit of a sling tackle too.
Glenn Hill's our man at ground level today. So the ball's going to come to Riley Smith over his head though, and boundary throw in. No one touched it.
16 and a half gone, final term. 6-10 the Pies, plays 5-13 the Seagulls. They've had plenty of goal scoring opportunities this afternoon, both sides, but difficult to convert in these conditions as Woodward just rolls it forward. Will that be deliberate? No. Gained about 20 metres and got it forward side of the wing for the Magpies. The ball's been living in their defensive half for the last 5 to 10 minutes. So some welcome respite here as the ball's tossed back in. Rodder made a good fist of things against Smith in the ruck. Now a chance for Donnell. His kick though rolled towards half forward, and Ebinger and Scharenberg both happy to see it over.
Scharenberg really good again. Just got a fist in there just to make sure that got over the line so they could reset.
18 touches in the AFL last week for Matt Scharenberg. He's up to 15 and 7 marks this afternoon. He's been one of the keys for Collingwood this afternoon as Dacos wraps up an opponent. Not going anywhere is Pengrasic. Ball up on centre wing. Brown and Woodward could have raffled it out. Eventually Woodward took it, gave it to Appleby, who kicks on his non-preferred left. And the mark was juggled over the line by Donnell, so boundary throw in instead of a turnover. Good result for the Pies. They lead it by 3 points, 18 minutes into this final term. 6-10-46, plays 5-13-43 as we'll have to redo that boundary throw in because the wind got a hold of it.
Not sure it was the wind because it actually blew against the wind. I think it was just a slip of the hand there from the boundary umpire, which is probably understandable given the conditions this afternoon.
The boundary throw-ins have been dropping short all day on this broadcast side. That one's better though, and Williamstown clears through Mark on, grubs it towards half forward. Madgen couldn't handle it, but Keane could. Handball off to Tardrew. Now Madgen at centre half back. Shaky moment there, but able to hack it towards half forward. He might get it inside 50. He doesn't. And a good defensive mark taken by Myers.
Passes off to Hibbert. And he's got a loose man at half forward. It's Tate. Too far out to score, though, is Ollie Tate. Plenty of advice coming the Collingwood players' way from the crowd here as we go inside 50. Almost the mark taken by Atavi. Falls out the back. Pongracic. Goal coming up for the Seagulls. Dorkin the finish. And Williamstown in front. 6:13:49. Collingwood 6:10:46. Almost time on final term.
Wow, you just didn't see that one coming at all. It just felt like the Pies had just steadied in the last few minutes, and it might have been them to score next, but Williamstown centering ball, got it to a real hot spot, and smart play from the Williamstown forwards, getting over the back. And an easy goal in the end puts them in front.
First goal of the final term comes 19 and a half minutes in, and it puts the Seagulls in front. Pies need to respond as we just tick into time on. They trail by 3 points. Smith over the top of Rodder, got it forward, but charging off the back of the square was Greiser for Williamstown. Couldn't handle it cleanly, and now Smith takes a man in a tackle and will ball it up 5 metres forward of the centre circles for the Magpies. Haven't had it inside 50 for quite some time. Adams might have been pushed in the back as he handballed, and the crowd likes that decision. In fact, it's Wills, both in and under players. Haven't seen Taylor Adams in a while. His minutes restriction might be up as Wills sizzled it inside 50. Punched away from Glover. Williamstown defending well, but Wheeler's kick turned straight over to Madgen, who played on for some unknown reason. His kick partially smothered. It's lifting in intensity here as Tardrew is taken down.
I think it was a full body smother there from Jason Pongracic.
Don't know why Madgen felt the need to play on unless it was called touch. I didn't see the umpire call anything, but we might have missed it as Woodward tries to burrow it forward. Smith in there for the Magpies. Woodward goes again. Thomas is there too. But the ball lodged in between a couple of players and not coming out. So we'll get a stoppage. The ball has barely advanced since the last goal. Basically in the middle of the ground as Appleby overruns that one. Martin as well. He's in there. Goes in again as Martin. Can't get it clear though, and another stoppage. This is exactly what Williamstown wants at the moment. Almost 22 minutes into this final term. Repeat stoppages, good for the Seagulls, but the Pies need to get it moving, and they might just do so here. Ball towards half forward. Bounce will be important. Wilson and Tippett. In fact, it's Masters, and Masters was held. He'll take the free kick at half back.
We'll be careful not to reverse it, Myers. So Masters emerges with the ball right half back, and the Seagulls, do they start thinking about milking clock? The kick for Donnell, Goldsack the fist. Might be close to best on ground today. Ebinger towards half forward. Otavi got rid of his man and took the mark, uncontested in the end. Still a long way from home though for the Seagulls. Otavi's kick into attack. Inside 50 we go. Going up was Madgen. There was a few bodies going down, and a free kick going Collingwood's way. It's going to be taken by Appleby. Flynn Appleby does not know where to go. Williamstown structured up well behind the ball. Mark taken here by Brown. Pies down by 3 points at the 23-minute mark of the final term. Brown's kicked centre wing, and a good mark again taken by Atavi.
Number 34 kicking to number 34, but not the result the Magpies want, as Atavi can just poke it over the top to Charleston, and he won't be in any rush to get rid of it. Eventually called to move, and he does. High ball towards half forward. Rodder there. Didn't even fly in the end, did Rodder. And Ebinger runs it over the line. On air till 4:50 this afternoon on VFL.com.au if you're watching us, or SEN2 if you're listening. Almost 24 minutes gone in this final term. 3-point lead to the Seagulls as Smith overruns it, and Hunt taken over. Will's in amongst it as well. It's a 3-point lead to the Seagulls. 6-13 plays 6-10. As the rucks go at it once again. Atavi's done all the ruck work in this second half. Thomas got a fist to it. Hibbert's kick was smothered. Now Wheeler, it's really tough stuff in there. Both sides trying to will it forward. And we get a stoppage as Pengracic is wrapped up by Smith and Thomas. Can't be too long left. Expecting a short quarter given we've only had the one goal. Tardru's kick is an up and under. The mark will be paid though. And it's Donnell who takes it on his chest.
Collingwood cannot penetrate beyond centre wing at the moment. Sam Donnell, goalless today, but 16 for the season. Goes up towards half forward. Holding. Which way? Williamstown. Ebinger to take it. Too far out to score. But at least for the time being, looking as though he is going to go back. He was far too far out, just sends it long. Another whistle as the ball's in flight. Free kick advantage paid. Mark on, out of the back, Hibbard, and Williamstown are going to win. 2 late goals in the final term. Mitch Hibbert gets his second, and that should be enough for the Seagulls to get the 4 points today. 7-13-55, Collingwood 6-10-46.
Well, hasn't been the most prolific day for Mitch Hibbert. 20 disposals for him, but he's got 11 tackles and also 2 goals too now, and that one might have just been the sealer. Can't imagine there's too long left to go in this one as we tick over 26 minutes gone now. There have been a number of stoppages, but can't imagine there'd be any more than 2 or 3 minutes at absolute most. So the Magpies need to get moving if they're going to have a chance. They won't win a clearance here. Woodward over the top of it. Tardru flashing through as well. And we'll get a repeat stoppage. 7-13-55. Now the Seagulls leading Collingwood 6-10-46. This would be win number 9 for Williamstown if they're able to hold on as the Pies clear. Charleston running back with the flight. Didn't quite get there. Boss and Avalagi went to ground. They have all the answers at the moment. Does the Williamstown defence as Greiser hands it off to Wheeler. In fact, it's Pickus. Couldn't quite bring it back to himself. Has he kept it in? He has. Still going is Pickus. Great individual effort to gain all that meterage, but only as far as Scharenberg. The Pies need to go through the middle of the ground here, and they will. Woodward gives it off to Smith. He's probably been their best today, Collingwood. Now a chance for Lane. Pops it over the top to Tardru, and Broomhead has it at right half forward. Thinks about going, then holds up. It has to go. Sends it in long. At the back, Mark taken. It is on all fours by Chippendale. Needs to go back quickly and put this through for the Pies to have any chance of winning their 4th straight game.
Has to hurry up, Michael. Has to hurry up.
He does. The kick is a relatively elementary one, only about 30 out on a slight angle. Chippendale comes in to keep the Pies' hopes alive. He's put that one well across the face of goal. And a minor score doesn't help. Still a 2-kick game. The margin 8 points.
Hilly judging by the trees on the outer side. No wind at the moment.
No real
just a
wind
bad
to
kick.
speak of. That was just a skill error on that occasion from Chippendale.
So Williamstown remain in the box seat here. 8-point lead late in the last term. As Munsey almost threw that ball out, but did the job. The kick down the line. Ebinger has taken some really big marks late in this game.
He's had a huge game, Ebinger. Huge game.
Hilly might be coming his way when the final siren goes as Ebinger sends the ball down the line. Rodders in position A, just over the head. Scharenberg, bouncing ball over the line. Boundary throw in. That was a huge opportunity gone begging for Collingwood. For Michael Chippendale. And judging by the fact that the siren still hasn't gone, if it was a goal, potentially time for Collingwood to get that clearance and maybe get the win. As the ball goes out of play once more, Williamstown's most recent goal kicker in Mitch Hibbard watches it go out of play. 2 late goals in the final term. Jack Organ, Mitch Hibbard, that looks like being the difference here today. Umpire brings it in. Forward of halfway for Collingwood. Smith hacks it back in there, but it's all Seagulls. Reading it in flight is Tippett. And he can milk some more clock for Williamstown.
No one forward of the ball for the Pies on that occasion. Tippett, the only man there, is he sends it long and wide. Goldsack there to get it out of play. Both sides can reset here. The Seagulls will no doubt want to lock it up and force another stoppage. The Pies need to surge it forward as quickly as possible. 8 points the margin. Almost 30 minutes gone, final term. The ball goes forward for Williamstown, and there is the siren. The Seagulls have won their 9th game of the season to fortify their position in the top 4. And for the Magpies, an opportunity goes begging, but a great result for Andy Collins and the Williamstown Footy Club. They trailed for much of that final term, and they trailed heading into 3/4 time. And it took 20 minutes for the first goal to be scored. Dorgan kicked it for the Seagulls, and that one put them in front. And then just a couple of minutes later, Mitch Hibbard kicked the sealer. Both goals coming on the goal line. Our man Glenn Hills looking for a man to interview. As soon as you have someone, Hilly, just cut in. But a great result for the Williamstown Footy Club. They move to 9-3-1 now on the season. And with a close finish coming between the Borough and the Northern Blues, they might just move themselves into 3rd place, the Seagulls, with that victory. So a great performance. They would challenge the Seagulls, but they did what they had to do. Hilly, have you got someone?
Yeah, thanks, boys. Joined by Mitch Hibbard, and what a fantastic win for the club this afternoon.
Yeah, it was. Had to grind it out. You know, the weather in the second half sort of came down and made it pretty scrappy, but sort of hung in there and just grinded it out.
That style of game suits you. Obviously, the wind at Williamstown, it was those sort of conditions, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Felt like we were willy a bit with real windy and rainy and that, so it probably wasn't much of a spectacle, but we got the 4 points. That's the main thing.
It's all about strategy football, and you worked the strategy really well, and when the wind dropped in the last quarter, you took advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. It probably wasn't much of a game to watch. It was one of those ones that you probably wouldn't pay to see. But you know, we got the 4 points, so you know, for everyone that came, sorry, but yeah, I guess we got the 4 points, so everyone's happy.
And you would have been very pleased to get on the end of a couple too.
Yeah, kicked a couple of goals, so just trying to add that into my game. So look, it wasn't much. As I said, it wasn't a spectacle for sort of a standout game or anything like that, but you just chip in when you can.
And obviously you guys put it really well together in terms of your midfield work with losing Nick Meeks before half-time.
Yeah, it's obviously a big loss. You know, he's the number one sort of ruck in the comp, so we sort of just adjusted, and I guess the conditions help. They make it scrappy. So, but the boys who filled in, Rods and Joel, did a fantastic job, so we're sort of able to hold our own.
And you're putting a great season together. Who have you got next week?
We've got Northern Blues, so another big game for us, and hopefully we just keep getting the wins and hopefully set us up with that second chance.
Beautiful, Mitch. Thanks for your time on VFL Live. Go and enjoy the win.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Great work, Hilly, and another great game for Mitch Hibbard. He is just putting together a fine season at VFL level in his first with the Seagulls. It's just putting some great numbers on the board every week, averaging 24.9 disposals a game and also 6.6 tackles. He's top 10 in the VFL in both categories, and today he popped up with another 21 disposals, 11 tackles to go with those on what was a very contested type of game, and also kicked the 2 goals too, including what turned out to be the sealer for his side at Victoria Park. So a big win for the Williamstown Footy Club. As we said before, they moved to 9 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, sitting on 38 points but still 2 behind Richmond in second place and 6 behind the Bombers, who had themselves a big win this afternoon. On air for another 5 or 6 minutes here on Hard Yakka, Totally Workwear VFL Live. Might just run through a couple of stats and a big goal around the grounds. In fact, Port Melbourne has just taken the lead over the Northern Blues 30 minutes into that final term. So the Northern Blues have led all day in that one, but the Borough charging home at Adcon Stadium. Eli Templeton kicked the crucial goal to put his side up by 2 points. We'll keep an eye on that one as we wrap up here on Hard Yakka, Totally Workwear VFL Live. Just go through a few stats for you from this one. Williamstown pulling out a nail-biting victory over the Pies. Having a look at some of the team's stats. And, well, Collingwood had a lot more of the footy, but Williamstown able to get it going forward. We know they play a low handball game, a high stoppage game. They love to just work it forward and play territory. Their kick to handball ratio today was effectively 2-1 with 180 kicks and 91 handballs. Collingwood, that kick to handball ratio much closer to 178 kicks to 145 handballs. 91 tackles to the Pies to 71 for the Seagulls. As we said, it was a high stoppage game. Plenty of tackles were laid, plenty of boundary throw-ins and ball ups. Inside 50 count was even 39 apiece, but 7-13, 20 scoring shots to the Seagulls to just a 17 for the Pies, as Glenn Hills joined us once again on the coverage. How did it look at ground level, Hilly? The Seagulls seem to have control for the most part in that final term.
Yeah, they just found another gear in the last quarter, and with the wind dropping significantly, it sort of played into their hands. I'm sure if they were kicking into a howling 5-goal breeze, they might have had trouble finding a couple of goals. But with the wind dropping, it certainly helped them. And all credit to them. They hung in there all game, and when the game was there to be won, they did the right things. They tackled hard, they ran hard, they got the ball to dangerous positions, and they capitalised on 2 occasions, and that was enough in the last quarter.
Certainly was. We know that's exactly the kind of game style Andy Collins would have been looking for, just to scrap and scrap and scrap. And when your opportunities do come to kick a goal or two, take advantage of them. And look, it was a tough day conditions-wise, but they were able to take advantage of their opportunities when it counted right at the end. And that sees them move up into 3rd place over the Bulldogs for the moment, but they have a big game against Casey tomorrow, so they can move back into 3rd place. And big news coming out of Adcon Stadium. I mentioned that Eli Templeton had put the Borough in front by 2 points with not long to play, but a goal to the Northern Blues from Jean-Luc Velasaris has put them back in front, and they've actually taken that win over at Adcon Stadium. So a big win for the Northern Blues and a savage blow to Port Melbourne's top 4 hopes. They move now to 7-5-1, Hilly, and they're a win off the pace now in the top 4, and they might be 2 wins behind by the end of tomorrow.
Yeah, look, it's really a hard one to explain, because they had built such great momentum through the first 8 or 9 rounds. I think only dropping through 9 rounds, might have only dropped the 2 games, but unfortunately their last 3 or 4 weeks have really lacked. They were in it till half-time against the Bulldogs and got put away. They drop on at home today to the Northern Blues. They're just a little bit off at the moment, and I'm sure Gary Ayres will be working hard during the week with the players to try and rectify things and get them back up into that top 4 echelon.
They trailed all day, in fact, right up until Eli Templeton put them in front by those 2 points right at the end, but Northern Blues claim a much-deserved victory, and that does their top 8 chances no harm. They move to 6-6, even with Casey, but they've played the 1 fewer game, having already had their 3rd bye. So that could prove to be a major win for the Northern Blues in their quest to make the top 8. Jared Garlett and Jesse Palmer kicked a couple of goals each for the Northern Blues. For Solo, Fisher, Kerr, LeBoyce, Velasaris and Wheeler were the other goal kickers. And for the Borough, Lang kicked a couple with Haratuku, Cracker, Lewis Smith, Lyle, O'Sullivan, Signorello, Templeton and Van Oonen chipping in with 1 apiece. But as you said, Hilly, a little bit of work to do for Gary Ayres and the Port Melbourne coaching staff. They currently sit in 5th, and with Box Hill and Werribee both playing tomorrow, they might be under a little bit of pressure just to hold on to their top 8 spot. But Port Melbourne being a good club, you'd have to think they'll figure things out.
I'm sure they will. But just from the sound of things, full credit to the Northern Blues, and Josh Fraser would be really pleased to get a win over a top 8 team and realistically probably a top 4 team. So he'd be wrapped with that effort today from the Northern Blues, and hopefully for themselves another step in the right direction towards finals.
Earlier in the day, a big win for Essendon by 50 points over the Kangaroos to keep their stranglehold on top of the ladder now, with Richmond slipping up last week. And also around the grounds, this one almost at half-time, 25 minutes into the second term. It's the Cats leading the Zebras by 3 points. So plenty of action going on around the grounds in the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. It was a big day here at Victoria Park, but the Seagulls emerged victorious by 8 points. A big win for their top 4 hopes, and a savage blow to the Pies' finals chances. For Glenn Hill and Adam Sarakoglu, this is Michael Pepicelli saying good night from Victoria Park.